connected to the right Wi-Fi? No, like I'm being serious. Like suddenly it suddenly jumped to a different Wi-Fi. Why is it connected to the yellow room?
Because fuck you.
I told it only to connect to the master suite. One second.
Technical difficulties?
Mm-hmm.
My stream is recording is not available is what I'm getting right now.
Hang on. I want to stop the stream.
Luckily, we didn't get anywhere, so it doesn't matter that we have to start over again.
No, I told you to not connect to that.
There's its answer to you.
Fuck you!
It's talking shit at you.
Hey Tim, what I always do when using these water bottles is remove the label. That way we're not like advertising Deer Park.
Mm.
You're right, we shouldn't advertise anything.
That's empty. Why?
He's advertising Chick-fil-A.
Would you like me to remove it for you?
Yeah, I don't have fingernails.
Okay. I think we're green now.
Vodka.
I'm going to...
Yeah, we're good.
Are we on? Is it showing us?
Yeah, it looks like it now.
Wait, what? This is the...
Oh, I see us. A picture of us anyway.
I'm now on my phone. That's not what happened. I don't know what's going on.
Welcome to my world. Says we're streaming.
But are we?
Should be. Yeah, we have the green light.
I hear something.
That's from...
I can't tell what it is.
All right, we're the whole time we were live streaming.
Okay, we are now live streaming, and it should be good.
That was just weird.
We're going to see what happens. So we apologize for the beginning.
Some minor technical glitches.
It always happens.
Yeah.
Always happens. But this time it was like a weird fluke where it wasn't any of the programs. It was just my computer said, let's connect to the room that's through 3 layers of brick wall. Instead of the one that's right above our heads. But that should be fixed now. We're all good. We'll double check in a moment. Where was I? Oh, yeah. The White Mountain. We have arrived at the White Mountain. Black Cats, la ya ya ya. You're Tim, you're Kevin, you're Jane, I'm TJ, and this is the Table Candle. Wonderful la la ya ya. Episode 8, Romulus. We have arrived at the White Mountain. And now, this is mine now.
Give it back, please.
No.
Pretty please.
No.
Pretty please with sugar.
We are starting the stream.
I bought dinner.
I'm still hungry. And we begin. Raz and Shepard are currently taking the long way, so it's going to take them another day or two. And they should arrive for the big going over into the 5th realm. No, wait. This is the 5th realm. 4th realm. To meet Varana, the brood mother goddess, mother to all dragons.
They should be along. They should be there for that.
They should be there for that. But you guys have a few days to be in town and see the sights. Now, when you arrive at the White Mountain, it is quite literally, it's a mountain. It looks like a singular mountain slapped in the middle of marshlands, but it is made out of pure white marble. You see dragons flying around it. The city side is like built onto it. It looks like Minas Tirith, only built on the side of a giant white mountain, and a lot freaking taller and wrapped around the entire thing. With dragons flying around, and you see merchant carts. This is the capital of the Kingdom of Gornux. What are you guys' comments as you walk up to the front gates, which are massive in size?
It's really white.
Tig says, yes, it is really white.
It's just a mountain.
Says, but it looks like it's a dragon-made mountain. Not a natural mountain.
But aren't all mountains made from dragon hearts?
I don't know, are they?
I don't know. It was part of my old stories when I was a little kitten. Not saying I am
You're
not
still
still a kitten.
You're
but-
still a little kitten. The two kitty kittens are discussing kittenness and...
What does Agamemnon think?
He's standing there looking and he says, well, it's big. He says, and much prettier than the mountains in my kingdom. He says they all tend to be gray and stormy and cold.
This place it looks beautiful. There is no other words for it. As you arrive and you walk in to the front gates, you see the marketplace. It's hustling and bustling. It's mostly pawns, though. Lots and lots of pawns. There are lots and lots of dragons as well. This is the city hub, and this is the city of Gornux. And Gornux's symbol is a hand with 3 pawns in the palm.
Orgamongal looks at the dragon and says, I expected lots of your people here, but why are there so many pawns?
When you got a thing against pawns?
He says they're just, I don't know, creepy.
Well,
Remember, he's the one that's got the pawn phobia.
I forget, did the owl girl come with you? I
No.
don't think she did.
Mm-mm.
Nope. She needs to grow before she can join us.
That's right. I remember that now.
Mm-hmm.
You all arrive, and there's the marketplace, there's places, but of course, like any good adventurer, the very first thing that probably crosses your mind is you've been camping.
Mm-hmm.
An inn.
Let's get a bite to eat. A real bite to eat.
An actual
That
bite and an inn and a
sounds-
room.
That sounds perfect.
Tiggs nods and says, yes, it does.
I could really use a nice bath.
You notice there are guards around the city, and they're mostly dragon guards, but you also notice that the dragons have several pawns riding on their heads. They're also guards. They're like quite literally a tank with archers on top of them. They're like little walking... Because if for those who will read the histories... Shut up, phone. For those who read the histories of the Fifth Realm, the reason why pawns and dragons are very close together in this city, especially in this area, is because Gornux came through the portal from the Fifth Realm. From the Fourth Realm into the Fifth Realm, and stopped a giant pawn war, which was basically like these two kingdoms that started as gangs that started fighting each other on dragons. But then Gornux came and squashed the entire thing and said, all dragons are now under my rule, and thus the pawns followed suit because, well, pawns and dragons worked very well together. The smallest of the small and the largest of the large. They work very well in tandem with each other. And you can honestly tell, there are Fey merchants here as well, and there are people that look like Nith merchants as well. Nith and Gornux have very strong ties, but the people who look like they're from Nith either look like they're tourists, travelers, or are there selling their wares before they head back to Nith to get the products that are made there. And you guys travel throughout the city and find several taverns. Now, there is an expensive tavern, a mid-level tavern, and a very cheap tavern. Which one do you guys go to?
I don't think we have that much. Well, Gammon-Gall probably has a fair amount of... He's got Kaijin cubes.
Well, nobody really likes Zell currency, so unfortunately, even though I have an endless bound of it, I don't think they would really want it.
Don't worry, Jane. Your time will come for endless bounds of money will come. That'll be in the adventures that are in Zell. So,
Which are, I believe they are...
I think maybe part of this next season. Well, we're about to do 3 episodes, but I think we're going to have a long stint in Zell. Because every season we're going to have a stint in a section of the world, along with a little section and everything else, and definitely going to go visit every single god if they exist. But, moving on.
A Gammon Golf pulls out a Kaijin cube and says, we might as well... We've been roughing it. Let's have some style.
But I like roughing it.
Now,
He
you do
says-
notice,
He says, these are your people. I'm sure every tavern's going to have some kind of dragon pool in it.
Well, the one thing is, the dragons here look like European dragons. They have large wings. They look like Kevin's dragon, but there is one key difference. None of them are growing crystalline spikes, and none of them have more than 4 legs.
I thought everything quadruped in the 5th realm had 6 legs, including horses, wolves, dogs.
Except dragons. Dragons are pretty much the norm. Kevin's the out of the norm. Well, let's just put it this way. Fine, we'll go with... The dragons have 6 legs,
I thought the whole reason why
but
everything...
none of them have a
Crystals,
crystalline
yeah.
back.
I thought everything had 6... That the 6-legged dragon format was what we came up with, quadrupeds having 6 legs. Because all my quadrupeds I've come up with have all had 6 legs.
Quadruped is not the proper word for that, then.
No, that would be sextiped or something like that.
Sextiped. Which is what every little boy loves to hear. A very innocent word. Because that reminds me, if you're 13 years or above, you're welcome here. But if you're underneath 13 of age, get the fuck out. Okay, now I've said that and YouTube is happy. Continuing on.
Roughly happy. I mean, come on.
YouTube is never happy. They never have enough money. So, you guys arrive at the Brownstone Inn. A very good looking inn.
Very good looking.
Very good looking. You walk in. There's actually somebody there to greet you.
Is Mr. Brownstone there? Does he look like Axl Rose? It was a great song by Guns N' Roses.
You arrive, and you notice that the person behind the counter is a pawn.
And a Gammon Gall hands the Kaijin cube to the Kittykin.
Which one?
Can I have a lift up? She's kind of like that difference from the...
Does she realize why a Gammon Gall is doing this? So
yeah, she noticed.
I mean, he's never said he has... I'm scared to death of pawns. But
noticed.
has people picked up on the fact that
I think everybody's...
he tries to stay as far away from pawns as he can?
She's noticed partially because it's one coward to the other. She's just terrified of everything huge and terrifying. Can you pick me up? I'm a little, short.
And the dragon, Gammon Gall is sort of lost, and he's like, that would require me getting close to the counter, and...
Let's see, how many
You
members
also,
do we
by
have?
the way,
1, 2,
I should
3,
say this. You guys are
4.
fussing over getting picked up. The counter actually seems to have 3 levels. 1 for pawns, 1 for kittykins, 1 for humans, and a really tall one for dragons. And you see the
She's still
pawn...
a small kittykin.
Well, the pawn sees you approach, and he walks down the stairs in the greeting thing, and he goes to your eye level.
Oh, so it's like a staircase.
No, not just a staircase. Think of it like a what's it called? The reception desk at a hotel, right? But that section is small and it's on multiple levels. So there's the top level is for dragons, the middle level. So there's a counter for each size.
But like I said, she's smaller than most kittykins. She's like, there's the pawns,
You only need to
and
look
then
up a
the
little
kittykins, and then there she is.
Well, you're still at a good level to see.
All right, fine.
he walks down to the kiddiekin level and he looks at you and says, "Yes, welcome to the brownstone."
Hello, we would like... How many people are we? 1, 2, 3, 4... 4 of us?
2. Yep.
Just 4.
We would like 4 rooms, please.
He goes, 4 rooms? Let's see. 4 separate rooms.
Yes, unless there's a way to have 4 separate rooms with 1 common area.
Oh, yes. If you want a deluxe suite, that will be, well, let's see. 5 kaijin cubes.
Oh. She opens up...
For each night.
How many nights are we staying?
5.
Gammon Gall starts rummaging through his pouch, and he pulls out a handful of kaijin cubes.
This is a hefty thing. This is going to definitely put you to your limit until you can get more money.
And he's like, "Don't have as many as I thought I had."
Uh-oh.
What package did you get at character creation?
I don't. Probably early because he's a prince. So.
Well, just like I told Jane, you have to maintain it every month, otherwise it starts dwindling. You've been very far away.
And he
still technically have it.
He hasn't really spent any yet,
That's
but he
one of the
hasn't.
things.
He also hasn't done anything to maintain it. So what he started out with is what he's got.
Mm-hmm.
And it may be hard for him to maintain it because when he gets back, he may find that Daddy has cut him off.
Then again, your uncle might be able to get you money.
Might be able to.
You're a black cat after all, but you'll have to talk to him about that.
And he says 5 kaijin cubes a night. And Tig says,
nights.
"Well, says, I think the kiddykins could probably share a room. We're both small."
I really would rather not share a room with you, Tiggs. I hope you do not take that into offense.
Tiggs has a aghast look on his face. He's like, "But I'm Tiggs the Mighty." He says, "I would protect you, and I would..."
Tiggs the Mighty should have a mighty room all to himself.
This is, by the way, for those who are always wondering why kaijin cubes are so, good, 100 kaijin cubes are, wait, hold on. 100 kaijin cubes are 100, one kaijin cube is 100 gold. So this 100 gold, common gold that is found around here,
which is the common currency that everybody takes, and
which, by the way, the guy would have said gold, but they showed him kaijin cubes,
exactly.
So he's going to round it up to kaijin cubes. This hotel room is going to cost you 2,500 gold for all 5 days. That is a lot of freaking gold. So you guys have a very expensive place.
I certainly hope we get some benefits for going
like
to
the
this
top
very
of the
expensive
the top
place.
of the top. And a Gammon Gall size. It is what it is, and he drops a pile of kaijin cubes right in front of the kiddiekin. It's rather a sloppy drop because he's trying to look away from the pond when he does so.
You pass the kaijin cubes over to the pawn. He puts you into the register book, and he goes, "All right," and he tells you the suite.
And now that just a player request.
Yes.
Since we are in an area where there are pawns everywhere, please put some situations in where a Gammon Gall is forced to make a roll on his flaw.
Oh, okay. Right now, a pawn has just approached him asking for his bag. Now, pawns...
Oh, no! It's the doorman!
Even though this guy is huge, and his bag is most likely huge, pawns can actually lift normal everyday things because of their tie to the second realm. Because they are immensely strong, even though they're so small.
Ah, well, he rolled well, so he overcame his flaw this time.
All right. You overcame the flaw, and you see the little butler pawn. He says, "I can take your bag, sir." This tiny ass little pawn.
It's like this big.
This big. Bag. This big. Pawn. This big. Bag.
Like an
this
ant with
big.
that giant leaf. You're thinking,
You hand it down to him, and he easily holds it, and you see your bag bobbing along on its own. Other footmen come, ask for your guys' bags, and they kind of like bob on their own. This is the reason I wanted pawns to be in the 5th realm and why we created them. Because you have lots of fun with a pawn. They're a really fun species.
What was that? Was that a cat sneeze, or did you... Oh. I was all excited. There's a cat in here!
Say, I haven't seen a kitty come in yet. And I'm usually alert to look for kitties.
Yeah.
Door's closed. But, where was I?
Yeah.
Brain, work. You guys get
things are
situated
walked
in
away.
your... You guys get situated into your room, and you notice, when you walk in, there is more pawns in your room. This is a very high-class hotel, and unlike other hotels or inns that you've been at, these pawns are quickly finishing cleaning up, get everything ready, making sure your rooms are nice, and as they are doing it, and they are putting your bags away, it's like you don't have to lift a finger. This is a very expensive place.
This is worth the Hilton.
You're at the Hilton, not even a Hilton.
The
You've
game
gotten
lord.
like you've got yourself an entire suite that has its own common area, which is an extra kaijin cube on its own, another 100 gold in order for that. So you guys are really living pretty right now, and you know what? Because of that, for this entire adventure, well, let's just put it this way: you guys spend your first night in this hotel. And you guys get a permanent for until you sleep in this hotel again, an extra +2 to all your hits.
Nice.
Because you're so well rested and so focused. Just an extra +2 because you rested so well
that's
for
cool.
the day.
A gammon Gaul looks through his pouch and says, "Well, I hope this ends up being worth it." He pulls up 2 kaijin cubes and he's sort of rolling around in his hand and says, "This is all I've got left."
You only have 2 left?
He says, "That's it."
Why should you spend it on something so frivolous?
He says, "Look at this place." He looks around and says,
It really is nice, and you're sleeping in the capital of Gornux.
He says, "We're VIPs."
Speaking of which, you hear a soft knock on the door. She's attuned!
I am a tune!
You hear a soft knock on the door.
Tiggs opens the door.
And there's another pawn.
Tiggs says, "There's a lot of you guys around here."
Well, the Brimstone family is very great, and we are very vast in number.
Oh.
Every single servant is actually part of the Brownstone. Every single one of them, is last name is Brownstone. They're a huge family that runs the inn.
That's cute.
And these are like the great grandsons and daughters who are running it.
And Tiggs says,
Because
so,
pawns don't really live that long. They're like the shortest lived species.
Tiggs says, "So you're a brownstone."
He goes, "Yes, I am, but I'm here to tell you that what brings you to the city. To ask you a question so I may better help you in your search for what to do in the city. What brings you here?"
Tiggs says, "Well, we have this ticket."
He says, "Let me see. Ah, you're going to go see Verana, the brood mother.
Yes?
Very fine woman indeed. Why, she was the one that gave my great-great-grandfather, Mr. Brownstone, the...
Mr. Brownstone.
Mr. Brownstone, his very first inn key. Why, no other key matches it.
That is quite a gift.
Oh, yes. Verana, to meet her they say, is to meet warmth itself. And if she likes you, she'll give you a gift that is specifically for your own destinies.
Tiggs says, "That sounds fantastic."
Why, I think that one Nithian woman, Pentel... Yes, Miss Pentel, I read her book. Verana gave her a pen that could write on any surface, including stone.
Tiggs says,
Never ran out of
Tiggs
ink.
says, "Nithian woman."
Nithian woman, Pentel.
He says, does the broodmother have a specific love for Nith?
Oh, the broodmother loves everyone. Everyone that is not of her own realm.
Oh, okay. Say, because we've got a...
Well, she even loves those in her own realm. She's a very loving, warm person.
But
the line to see her is long.
Tig says, because we've got a Gaul with us.
Oh, I'm sure that won't matter at all.
Tiggs, don't be rude.
He says, I'm just worried about, the whole political thing. I don't want to get mixed up in...
She's a god. Do you really think a god would bother?
Care?
Tig says, oh,
politics?
yes. Oh, I think gods are probably more political than anybody else.
That's possibly true, but this is mortal affairs.
He says, just whenever I hear Nith and we've got a Gaul, it just makes me worried, that's all.
He basically tells you there's more things in, not to worry about Gaul. It's only Nith that's in war, and even though the king of Gornux is an ally, they have not yet been called upon by Nith. And in reality are kind of just keeping to their own, not really, and he kind of like whispers, and he goes, because he doesn't know you're part of Zell, he goes, and part of the reason we really can't help is because Zell's really blocking our way. So there's really no worries about the Gaul.
Just
Blocking your way?
Well, yeah, in order to get from point A to point B, we have to go through the Zell...
World question.
Yes.
Is Zell ally with Gaul?
No. Zell and Gaul are not allies.
So Zell's not involved in the conflict at all.
They're more... They basically got screwed over by Gornux and Nith, so now they are really splitting both of them, because they know that if the two of them do align, then they would probably just wipe them out.
Okay.
Besides, it's not really Gaul we're interested in. We really don't... the people around here don't really like Zell.
Oh.
They hold the trade routes.
I don't know much about Zell, so...
Yeah. But, regardless, they hold the trade routes. And the only real way to get around this place... is through Zell. Gornux tried to take it back in the past, but was unable to, and Nith had to intervene and basically brought it into the conflict. Long story, but the reason we can't go north and through Gaul's lands, or attack them from the other side, if Nith wanted, is because of the kaiju, the dragon kaiju that lives up north.
I heard about that.
Mm-hmm. He controls a very large, vast area, and even though we have some lands in its territory, we tend not to try to go there. No dragon can ever get to that side.
Just you got to stay out of its way.
Just stay out of its way. Just stay out of its way.
And he's not...
See, I told you.
Because Tiggs knows lots about kaiju, being a kaiju kitty. He says, and just hope no other kaiju comes up in that area.
I highly doubt it. Apparently, the only kaijus that are around are ancient kaijus. And the only one that got killed recently was by that, bugs.
Tiggs sort of swells a bit and says, my uncle.
Ah, your uncle's with him? Is he cool? Is he kind of cool? You suddenly see his demeanor suddenly change, and he's looking at Tiggs. He goes, ooh, like I've just learned that you know Harry Potter.
Yeah. Tiggs says, actually, he's not very cool. He's actually really stiff. Everything is business. Business. Important.
I quite like your uncle.
He says, you don't know him that well, though. Everything is always a hurry, a business. Never any time for...
He's very important, and he needs to do things for the kids.
But you still have to take some time to, live a little bit.
I think he's lived quite a lot.
Yeah, he has.
Well, I really should be getting to the other guests, but I wanted to ask... So you're here to see Verana, but your ticket is in 4 days from now. So you guys are going to stay an extra day. So
Tig says, what would you recommend? Where should we go first? Since we're here and we've got some time to kill and sights to see, what would you recommend to be the first place we go look at?
Well, I would recommend maybe visiting the shopping district. There's always some wonderful things there. There's the
I don't know if we can do much shopping. Our resident Gaul blew all of his Kaijin cubes on this place.
He goes, and it was well deserved. By the way, it was a really good sleep. And you guys have your own private bath.
Tig says,
showers.
but this place is great, though. I mean, it really is. And he pats the little pawn on the shoulder and
With
says,
a teeny tiny bean door.
yeah, and says, and the staff is really great here. I mean, you guys, everything. My pillows are fluffed. My bedding is clean and perfect, and it's enough to make a kitty purr.
He nods and he says, thank you. Well, in all honesty, I will be quite honest with you. If you guys don't really have money to spend, there's a couple places you could go. Gornux has a few places. You could go see the Royal Palace. Gornux isn't here in the city at the moment, but his palace is something to behold, and it's open to the public. You could go to the Great Library of Gornux.
There's a library?
He goes, yes!
Ooh.
It's actually the very core of this mountain.
A library is the core of this mountain?
Yes.
He looks at the dragon and says, you guys like books? He says,
Maybe these do.
He goes,
never read a book.
why, our library's the best, and the second library in the world that's the best is the Library of Nithya. But ours is much more vast, and unlike Nith, and you can see that he's kind of like rubbing Nith's nose in it, our library has an enchantment upon it.
What is it?
He looks at you and he goes, alright.
It's like getting a secret.
Looking at everybody, he goes, listen, any book that's ever been written gets copied into that library.
Really?
Mm-hmm.
so if I were to write a book, it would get copied into that library.
Yes.
That's
Oh.
cool. So every book...
Like a finished book or a book that's still being written?
Books that still get written too, by what I've heard, but those are on the lower levels, and I will say this, I'm not really going to really explain it well. I recommend if you wanted, go see the library. It's a beautiful place, and it's got multiple levels, but they can really explain the enchantment more than I can.
Tig says,
I only know
wanna
that
see
it copies books, and there's something about lower levels.
I think I want to see this library. That sounds really cool.
And don't get caught in at night. That's like a big thing. They have those big posters. I don't know why, though.
Don't get caught in it at night.
Yeah.
Is it haunted?
No. I honestly don't know why. I never really asked. I just go there and look up new recipes.
Oh. They have cookbooks?
Oh, cookbooks, everything.
Oh, that's...
I would think they would have everything.
Mm.
If they have every book that has ever been written, or is being written. Oh, that's a little upsetting.
Why is that upsetting? You can find anything you need there.
She holds up her book that she's currently writing.
He says, but is that actually a book or is it just notes? And would notes, someone's notes...
You just see the pawn shrug, and he goes, that's something to ask them.
I mean, that notes are kind of personal. I mean...
But so is diaries, which is considered a book?
Yeah, he
That
looks at the
one's
pawn
light.
and says, our diaries?
He just shrugs. He goes, I never really delve into lower levels, personally.
He says, that's not so good then, if diaries and notes, I mean, that's personal stuff.
Tiggs has a diary of his own. So
Mm.
Tiggs the mighty jots down a personal note.
Mm.
I don't know how it works, but if you wanted, go see the library. It should be fun.
Tiggs nods and says, yeah. And he looks at Beiju and says, we'll go check out the lower level and we'll make sure that if your book is there, we check it out permanently.
I don't know if we're allowed to do that.
He says, I didn't ask if we were allowed to. I said, we're going to. Because you never gave them your permission to have it.
Very true. Perhaps I can talk to the librarian about it.
Yeah, we can talk to the librarian about it.
You go to the library. Now, the
Twist
library,
it.
the entrance to it, you notice that you have to actually pass the palace, which is, like, as I said, this is a lot like Minas Tirith, with it jutting out of the side. Now, imagine that, but higher up on the mountain. and that big long platform, that's where you see dragons coming in and out, landing. There's lots of places for that. This mountain is very lively.
A Gammon Gall seems very distracted.
Gammon, are you okay?
And it doesn't seem to be having anything to do with ponds.
Gammon,
Yes,
can I sit on your lap or your shoulder?
if you wish.
She crawls up on his shoulder.
Are you okay?
He says, this place is fantastic. He says, I grew up in the capital of Gaul. It is.
Spread these around, please.
He says, it is very dark and unpleasant. He says, this is what a capital should look like.
Perhaps you might consider moving for a short time and explore the world the way you wish to, rather than, working as a black cat. The whole world is just as stunning as this.
He says, not Gaul. Now, I finally understand why those not of Gaul call it the Blight.
Well, I'm sure it's pretty in its own way.
He says, my father has no interest in beauty. My father's only interest is power and vendettas.
I will say this, because we are modeled after, because the Tangora are modeled after what's it called? Can't remember the name all of a sudden.
Mongolians?
Mongolian culture. Mongolians are, their stuff is beautiful, but it's in a different way.
Well, Gaul is so obsessed with his vendetta with Obo that he has
Been
forgotten.
neglecting it.
He has forgotten about being a Tangora. He is the only thing he cares. He is obsessed with.
So the capital is slowly going.
It is
to
falling
ruins.
apart. To the
All right.
capital of Gaul, it's been militarized, and everything about it is. It looks like a colossal military station, not a capital, because all Gaul cares about is his vendetta with Nith.
Well, Gammon, the next time we are in your city, your home, I will keep my eye out for something that might be beautiful that you hadn't seen.
He says, I appreciate the sentiment, but you will be having to look for a long time to find anything of beauty. Anything of beauty has probably fallen apart because my father's only concern is his vendetta with Nith.
I promise you, it will only take a day.
I will hold you to that.
All right.
And you arrive at the very top of the mountain. A beautiful building marked by 2 stone dragons with pawns riding atop of them. Actually, no. No, you see 2 giant hands that have 2 pawn holes cut through them. 2 basic palms like this. And above it, you see the Great Library of Gornux written into the stone. It honestly looks rather Roman. This entire place, I should say, the stylistic of this place feels Romanesque.
And Tiggs is looking around and says, this place is awesome. I think I could live here.
Yeah.
He says, although there doesn't seem to be too many kittykins here.
Yeah. I miss my home, though.
Where's your home?
I'd rather not say while we're here.
Gaul they don't have a problem with, but if she says she was from Zell, she'd immediately get singled out.
Yep.
Because, like I said, the trade routes are controlled by Zell, and they tax
Well, there's the reason for our meeting right there. Nith is trying to negotiate.
So, that's later down the road. But, moving on, you guys arrive into the library. Now, this is what the library looks like. It is grand. There's a grand staircase that leads up to a second level. You see underneath... can I see the wand of many dice?
No.
Because it's a really good pointer.
No.
Otherwise, I'm going to use a ruler. Here, you notice these are the landings, but under the landings, you notice stairs that go down to a second level that will then lead further down into the mountain. There is a very large reception desk. Put your guys here. Put him there.
Did you just?
The monkey.
Just want to go.
Pew, 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 pew.
You arrive in the library, and you notice 3 major statues that are in the reception foyer of the library. The very first one you notice, and this is probably the biggest one, is of a colossal dragon roaring. He's actually the size of this podium. But you see a giant stone dragon roaring, and he looks regal and beautiful, and underneath it says the fiery heart of Gornux.
Just wanted.
That's the name of the made off kilter Jim. Whatever. So you guys arrive, and behind the desk is a very large, same size as Kevin. All the dragons have been the same size as Kevin. You see a dragon, very gold-looking dragon, very fun, but he's dressed in basic librarian clothes. He looks at you and he nods. He says, welcome to the library.
Hello.
He goes, did you read the rules outside?
Where were they at?
Oh, they were posted to the side. Don't worry. Please make sure that any book is returned before you leave. Do not go below the... don't go further down than 25 levels.
What's on the 26th level?
Well, it starts getting rather cold.
What the other reason?
Hmm?
What other reason?
Oh, the further down you go, the colder it gets. And to be quite honest, after 25, unless you're a dragon, you're going to have a really hard time being down at such low levels.
Why? Because it's cold?
Well, it gets colder.
And you know, Gammon Gaul says, I'm from Gaul. We're used to cold and cold and colder.
He goes, but there's nothing that beats this cold. He says, do you know anything about the library? You look like you're not from around here. Especially you. I've never seen a dragon like you before.
Nope, I'm not from around here.
He goes,
None of us are.
We are tourists. That's Tiggs.
I figured it was Tiggs.
Mm.
He goes, well...
Says we are seeing the sights, and this place was recommended highly.
Of course. We have an enchantment upon this building to record every single book that's ever been written.
Says, we had a question about that.
Yes.
What about personal diaries?
They get written in here as well.
So you have everybody's personal stuff in here for anyone to look at.
He nods and he goes, but those types of things are usually after the 25th level. We normally keep books that get actually used in higher levels.
What if you want that book to be removed?
Oh, that is impossible.
Why isn't it possible?
Well, for 2 reasons. One, you try to take a book out of here and it will instantly reappear on the shelf it was created on. Now, if it was a book that we wrote or that we put into it at a higher level, those tend to... You could take them out, but we recommend please don't, because we don't want people taking our books.
What gives you the right to have people's personal thoughts and inner feelings and stuff in your library for any yahoo to come in and just look at whenever they feel like it?
He says, well, if
that's
they
not
can
right. These are private things.
He shrugs and he goes, well, to be quite honest, like I said, they're on lower levels, and, well, he looks around, and he goes, and besides, the whole reason Gornux founded the library here is because the library was already here.
The library was already here.
Mm-hmm. Well, you see, on the way lower levels, I mean like level 100 and below, you get into cross really weird books by what I've been told. But those are only by like really powerful fire-type dragons that can survive the cold down there. Even they get frostbitten.
So I would understand that, but why do you have people's personal diaries and stuff? I mean, if I were to keep a bunch of personal notes about the other pretty kitties that I was seeing, someone could go in and look at that and know all of my personal business. They have no right to know that.
He goes...
Especially if we can't see it ourselves because it's on the lower levels and only dragons can see them.
He goes, well, to be quite fair, we are only simply using this place. My name is Romulus, by the way.
I'm Tiggs.
And Bijou.
He goes, I understand the whole personal aspect. You're not the first ones to ask about it. We value ourselves on knowledge. And in truth and reality, we tend to make sure that if someone comes here for personal gain, we tend to screen those kinds of people. They're very easily sought out.
Understood.
Besides, they usually try to stay for longer, and the library can get rather complex, and you can easily get lost in it.
See, a Gammon says, well, I understand something now that I never understood before. Now I know why my father made a law years ago that no one was ever to write anything down that he said.
Oh. That is really quite worrisome now that I think about it.
But maybe somebody did.
He says, oh, I'm certain somebody did.
We are pretty sure that this library was created by the god of the first realm, for it is said, on lower levels, you can see him standing. But, just like the legends
Tig
say...
says, who is the god of the first realm?
The god of the first realm is... I have the note on my phone. I know I'm currently streaming. And
I'm pretty sure it wasn't the god of the first realm. I'm pretty sure it was one of the gods, if I remember correctly.
Aerith, the god of the first realm. It is said that he is the one that's put this place into action, but that's only a theory. In reality, no one has ever seen the god of the first realm, unless you believe the stories when the Kittykins first met him.
Tig says, yeah, because Kittykins were the first people.
That's true, and then there were humans. But I'm very concerned that what I've been writing gets in the wrong hands.
He goes, in truth, like I said, very deep down, and the more personal it is, the harder it is to get to.
Well, I don't know how personal these are.
Tig says, personal enough for you to worry.
Very true, but still, there is a chance.
You can always go check it out.
It's too cold and too small.
Check it out.
Gammon Gall says, me and the dragon could go down and check it out. He is a dragon, and I am a Tangora. I was born and bred in the coldest place on Earth. I mean, he's a dragon.
Very true.
He nods and he goes, well, if you're going to be journeying down to the farther levels, just note that there is one more thing. I've been omitting it, but at this point, if you guys are intent on heading down to the lower parts, this place is massive. The book you're looking for, you might not even be able to find.
How would all libraries have a sorting system? How would one find their own personal book?
Well, I think you'd have to talk to one of the keepers.
Oh.
But they get a little fickled after night.
Yeah.
We have to close the library every night, and this is the reason why nobody's just able to look through the books at night. Those species keepers that live on the lower levels, they look like humans, but are pitch black with green eyes. No mouths, no other identifying features, just black blobs, but with... Are they green? No, blue. They have blue eyes. Sorry, that's my fault. Here,
They
Master.
have white teeth.
No. Nobody's seen teeth, but they do talk. If you request a book, they'll take you there. Of course, as I said, after night, we have to close down the place because, well, unless you're in this room or the room above us, if you're on any of the levels below us, the library proper, they will ask you to leave, and they won't be kind about it. All they say, and to date we haven't figured out how to talk, but all they say is, the library is closed. The library is closed.
These were very, very weird.
He goes, so, your book that you're probably looking for is past 25, and 25 is roughly half a day's journey down. Any further down, it's going to take longer. And you'll probably be encountering the keepers after night. So, once again, I'm pretty sure your book is safe, but if you really want to go find it, find a keeper downstairs, ask them, and they will take you to it. But I recommend getting out of the library before we close.
Tiggs
So
looks
we're
at
on
Bijou
the
and says, it's your call because it's your book.
The only reason why I'm concerned about it is because of what is inside that's so important. What if somebody gets their hands on it and it has so many details that are so valuable? What? It's very concerning. I don't want anyone getting hurt because I wrote something down.
I'm more concerned that they might find a way to hurt you.
Well, I very much doubt that. Nothing on the books have much of anything to do with me aside from the recent one.
Romulus looks at you. He goes, now, I would behoove myself. I'm the keeper of the library myself. I'll tell you what. I'll come down with you, but when I say we should turn back, I'm turning back. If you guys wish to stay and die, that's your decision, but...
Tiggs says, what, not what. Nobody said nothing about dying up to this point. We talked about,
Well, the
shadow people that live down there and tell you that we're closing, but I never heard nothing about dying up until this point.
Dix, it was in context.
The keepers will attack you. They'll say the library's closed, but they will rip you limb from limb. To date, we have killed 1,000 of them, but they don't seem to mind. They appear to be skin all the way through. You cut them open and it's just dark, blackened skin all the way through. They don't seem to have vital organs. No, nothing. Weird. But they don't rot. They don't smell. It's odd.
I think I remember where this.
This thing is literally 3 things put together. So this is the point where I go, here, builder, can allow you to do anything you want. This is based on
This concept is
this
based
concept of, and this is a canon place in the 5th realm. This library, it's based on 3 things: 2 SCPs and 1 Disney film.
Disney film.
Yep. The first SCP, 5001. Is it 5011? No, 4001, I believe.
Oh, you created it, though.
No, I didn't create the SCP.
Well, no.
Well,
you
but I
created
did-
this thing. You should know what you got it from.
I think it's 4001. 4001 is the Library of Alexandria. SCP-4001. where it contains the works of every single human being, i.e. their life story in a book. And any changes to the book changes reality around it, and lots of hype goes around. Look up the SCP. Very fun article.
I'm pretty sure the other one is the IKEA.
The other one is the IKEA, but basically this library... Now, I got a major itch on my nose. There we go. Now, the Infinite IKEA, this is kind of based on it as well. While the library doesn't have these things, I took the Infinite IKEA SCP, and they're like mindless drones that like walk around and semi-assist people.
But at dark.
But after dark, they attack anybody in the IKEA. But for this, they're based on another species that was in the previous universe, revamped and redone into this infinite library of knowledge of the fifth realm.
So what is the Disney film?
The further down you go, the more personal the books become. This library does have the life story of every single person, but they are very deep and it's very cold. One would say if you delve too deep into the library, you will drown. It's based off Frozen 2.
No, never saw either one of the Frozen. So
It's actually pretty good, the second one.
Controversial, but I like it too. And I like the idea that water holds memory. So I won't spoil it for you if you want to go see it. But I took the idea from that of the deeper down you go, the more cold it gets and the more life-threatening it becomes because, well, based on that. So I literally took 3 things, created something, and reworked them into something even more, like, not more interesting, but something different, and made it for Hero Builder. And this is a canon place that we are going to have in the book, which will have its proper references on what we use to create.
Not the specific Hero Builder book.
No.
The...
our 5th realm book that we're going to be coming out with at some point.
Some point.
Some point. That's more quotation marks. Which will be at the BFG Con in Frederick. We'll have a booth and we'll be hopefully live streaming. So, moving on. That's where this came from. And that's just the power of Hero Builder. You can make anything you want out of it. So I remade a few things, twisted, took what I liked, and made this library. So, your guys' mission, because this episode was basically this is the library, it was going to be like whatever you guys wanted to do in it. It sounds like you're going to go after your book.
Yeah,
Possibly.
most likely.
Now, Romulus, after telling you that he will follow you...
you just lost all your dice.
No, I did it on purpose.
No.
And she didn't lose to them. They're in there.
No, I thought it was accidental. And I was expecting like a
Oh,
really pathetic noise.
No, I purposely looked at the camera and went,
I was expecting a really pathetic noise like, oh no.
no.
So, you guys arrive at the first level. And Romulus says he will follow you, and he even says that if you guys bring the book up to the higher level, while you guys cannot take it out because it will just reappear downstairs, he will put it into his personal vault upstairs to make sure nobody looks at it.
That sounds good.
And he says, you can, and by the way, you can trust me on this. I run the library, and if somebody figures out something that was in your book and anything, you know exactly where it came from. It's my fault. So, I have every incentive to keep my word. I want people to come to my library. I just don't like them dying downstairs.
That does make sense.
So you guys go to the first level below us. And... oh, I never did describe the other 2 statues.
No.
Before we leave, does anybody look at the other 2 statues?
Gammon Gall is looking at everything. The Kittykins are doing all the talking, and Gammon Gall is just busy. He is wandering around looking at everything.
So this one is of Gornux. But this one over here is of a pawn. very, well, not just any kind of pawn. It is said that this pawn was the very first pawn to ally himself with Gornux. Basically telling him about the war, about how to stop it, and basically gain all the other pawns together. And thus the Kingdom of Gornux happening. This one is of a kittykkin. Underneath it, it simply says Tiggs the Dragon Slayer.
And Gammon Gall, he smiles and scratches his chin looking at this one.
It has a resemblance to Tiggs, but this one is a little bit leaner. And for those who remember the stories, there was once a dragon that took over, quite literally took over the kingdom of Nith. And Tiggs, the ancient hero Tiggs, slew that dragon and became a hero.
Gammon Gall is kind of talking to himself and says, maybe shouldn't let him see this. His head's big enough.
Now, it is a rumor that that dragon was a child of the kaiju. So this was a kaiju dragon, not like the dragons that are walking around now. It just basically terrorized Nith, and he killed it. Does anybody talk about that statue?
Only he notices.
Gammon Gall is the only one, I think he's the only one looking at it, and he's decided not to tell Tiggs because Tiggs' head's big enough to begin with.
You hear him. You hear one of the dragons next to Gammon Gall walk over and goes, Tiggs, we're actually thinking about replacing it with bugs.
And Gammon Gall looks at you and says, oh, that's probably a good idea.
He goes, I mean, after all...
He says Bugs is relevant. Bugs is still around.
It's true, but the sad thing is we actually got in the library got in contact with Bugs, and Bugs doesn't want a statue of himself.
And Gammon Gall says figures. That sounds like him. I know Bugs.
Oh, you know him?
Says, I know him.
Oh... The way he took down that kaiju. Whew. By what I heard, that kaiju actually helped spark the kaijin cubes that are made today.
Says, well, I would dispute that. Most of our kaijin cubes that we get come from the kaijin mines, which is a very ancient and super colossal kaiju skeleton. Over 1,000 years old. So
this one, but wasn't it the one in the desert to the east of Gaul, up north?
Says that's where the mine, but that skeleton's over 1,000 years old. Says that's a
no. The one you're talking about is actually lower south,
which was Spine. I forget.
It's on the map.
Bone Spine. That was the name of the mining city.
I might be coming down with a gold.
Says, he says Bone Spine. Says that's the name of the mining. That's where the majority of our kaijin cubes come from.
But I heard that you guys have become a whole lot richer.
Oh yeah,
because of the second kaiju
yes,
slaying.
We have, but we have not. We have yet to get any actual kaijin from it. The skeleton's not old enough yet.
I've heard that some people are trying to contract Bugs to take down one of the other kaijus, but that are in Nith's territory, to try to get kaijin cubes and produce them themselves and lower the cost of them.
He says, I don't see Bugs doing that. And says, from what I heard, the kaiju that Bugs took down, it was not for political purposes.
Well, in any case, are you heading down to lower levels?
Says,
yeah.
I believe that they are thinking about that, and so if my little kitty decides she wishes to go down to the lower levels, I will accompany her.
So, you...
His little kitty. Aww.
You
I could see the fangirls in the future going, ship, ship, ship.
you
This giant
Romulus
reptilian
says-
beast has a little kitty.
Romulus says, okay, let's see here. It's probably going to be a day's journey down and a day's journey back. So we're probably going to have to camp in the library. Which means we're going to have to fortify our defenses and be ready for
Anything.
anything.
Fortunately, that's nothing new. It seems that everywhere we go, we have to do that sort of thing.
Very true.
We're used to this thing. We can take it.
Did you get a hotel room?
Yeah.
We did. We spent a. He says actually.
This is Romulus talking, by the way.
Tig says yeah. Our big Gaul over there dropped all his kaijin cubes into it.
He goes, well, if you guys are really serious about finding this book, I would highly suggest getting some supplies, coming back here, and getting ready for a day's journey and a day's journey back. You should be back in time to meet Varana. Oh, wait, he doesn't know about that. You'll be back within, maybe 2 days. So maybe you might
2
be able
days?
to Yes.
Tiggs is like, oh.
You'll have to
was
sleep
hoping-
down there tonight, and
I
then
was
you'll be
hoping
back
to see
tomorrow.
a few more sights and stuff.
But that's if you survive.
I'm sure we'll survive. We can.
You see Romulus just shake his head and he goes, well, I'm not staying down there with you. You'll have to make the last leg of the journey by yourselves.
Thank
Tiggs
you
is-
very much for coming with us then.
Well, I won't be down there for when the keepers go nuts, but if we find your bodies, we'll definitely give you a proper burial.
Tig says, I was kind of hoping to see more sights and not, have to fight for our lives again.
You can always go see the sights yourself. We'll go get this book.
Yeah, but then that's a chapter that'll be left out of the Book of Tiggs the Mighty when it's written.
Oh, the reason why I'm so concerned, Tiggs, is because if the future is... if what I'm writing is true, then...
So, hold on, I lost a die. I can't reach it. I got it.
If what I'm writing is true then there's a chance that somebody who's strong enough to handle the heat down there,
Cold.
the cold down there, they could use that knowledge against anyone.
These things that you've written down, these are the things that you've seen, right?
Mm-hmm.
Says, are all of them so very terrible?
Would you like to read through my book?
He says, but it's personal, would it not? Would that be offensive to you?
I think everybody in my party should read my book at some point because they, in some cases, might be affected by it.
Tig says, if you wouldn't mind, I would like to read your book. And Tiggs begins to read.
All right. Now, a very quick thing. For those who are wondering, why doesn't, Gornux send in an army into the library to take hold of it? It's an infinite library that adds itself onto it because knowledge is continuous. And I never said that there was a limited amount of those black guys. The shadows, or the keepers in this case, replicate and become more numerous the more get killed.
And also, is there even a bottom level?
So the real question is, why would you try? Because it would just be too much work.
Does the library may go on infinitely?
So why bother trying?
Mm-hmm. And having all your troops lost somewhere in some infinite catacomb.
Just to find a book that might help you.
Yeah.
So in other words, for those who are like, well, this seems kind of game-breaking. No, the world is very clear and understands this library is here. But you'd be insane to try. I mean, even Avatar The Last Airbender had a library that was the world's knowledge, and the spirit basically said F you and kicked everybody out.
Yep. And the dragons who control this library don't understand it, so...
Well, they
Nobody
understand enough.
understands it completely.
They understand enough to not deal with it.
Mm-hmm.
So, you guys gather things. Do you try to go get a refund for tonight from the
Is
hotel?
it like next 2 nights?
It will take a day down and a day back.
So
And-
1 night.
So one night you'll not be staying at the end. So do you try getting...
We do. He does.
Okay, somebody's going to have to haggle to get your money back.
Mm.
I don't got that skill.
Yeah, neither one of
I
mine.
can use my kittykin cuteness. There's not a lot
And
of
again,
kittens.
Gall can't do it because he's probably going to be haggling with a pawn, and
Oh yeah, you'd be haggling with the pawn.
we know how well that would probably turn out for him.
Because I can, Kevin. Because I can.
Have another water.
Yeah.
Wooter, 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 wooty, woo. Wink.
28 in kittykin cuteness.
Well, considering the difficulty was a 4, yes, I rolled a 4 for the difficulty.
You did it easily.
Not only did I get 1 night, but I got 2 nights.
Nah, you got the
No.
1 night. But basically he said, we're not going to be here tonight because we're journeying to the library. He goes, oh, we'll refund you your money, and if we learn that you guys died, we'll make sure that the money that would have been spent on the nights goes to your funeral.
Oh, you guys have quite a lot of faith in us.
Not many people make it back.
Oh. Well, we shall be one of the few.
He goes, I hope so.
Tig says, not many people who go into the library are Tiggs the Mighty and his mighty companions.
Takes the who now?
So, you guys start heading down. Now, it's a day's journey, and you guys are going to have to survive the night. So, there's already guaranteed 1 combat encounter, but this one is going to be very different than something you've encountered, because this is modeled after the IKEA. Which, for those who are wanting to do an adventure within the IKEA using the Hero Builder system, which you can, I recommend using this episode as a template for what happens when a hero is stuck in the IKEA and not behind a safe spot.
What do the levels look like? Is every level identical to every other level?
Yep. Except for signs and a little desk area. Yep. Now, for those who are wondering, seriously, why can't you just storm it? Well, there's only 1 staircase, and do you honestly think dragons can fit down that 1 staircase more than 1 at a time? Plus, every single direction seems infinite.
Not to mention the fact, what would be the purpose of storming it? These shadow creatures don't affect anybody that's not in the library. It's not like they're coming out and invading Gornux.
Yep.
They're just in the library.
So,
And we're the only assholes that have intention of going down into the very bottom bowels of the library. Most people have no interest in going down and being attacked.
Yeah.
So, every single level is going to look like this. And for the sake of
sanity?
For the sake of sanity, you guys are going to have to deal with the keepers. Now, keepers are limitless. I will continue to throw them on as...
In other words, they'll respawn, and they'll keep respawning.
So, even though this is a heroic campaign, and these things are not very dangerous by themselves...
They are very numerous.
They are extremely numerous, and the more you kill, the more comes. So, you guys journey down.
I gotta
Is
pee.
this
Before
kills
we
as
get...
in kills, or kills as in knocks out?
Because the rounds of combat would take all freaking night, and you guys do technically need some sort of sleep, you guys are going to have to formulate a plan to hide, or when dealing with the keepers, you're going to have to come up with a plan. So, at this point, Romulus gives you the whole lowdown. Tim will be back in a moment after these messages. After these messages. After these messages. After these messages. We'll be right back. Where'd you get those chips?
They were behind me.
Oh, those are the air chips. Why don't you get salsa?
No.
Chocolate milk.
No.
Please.
No.
I'm not talking to you.
No.
Okay. Kevin, can you please go get me more chocolate milk and salsa? Please. I'm so hungry. I'm not starving. I'm dying.
You want a chip? I mean, it's chippers. Very tasty.
The chips are very tasty. So good. It seems we accidentally got on, like, we've streamed twice, so hopefully this is all one episode.
I think so.
I'll figure it out. But now we're on pause.
Not really.
Kinda.
I'm probably going to go get something to, like, I'm probably going to get salsa for myself. I'm not going to share it with you, Kevin.
We probably should not be eating on the live stream. That seems quite rude.
I'll just hold the chip sausage.
Oh, Kevin, you haven't seen it.
I'm back.
Welcome
back.
back. Ah! Ow. So, you guys need to come up with a plan. And I will now say that combat, if combat does ensue, which it probably will, combat will continue until you can ditch the keepers. Just note that keepers, or until you kill all keepers within the area, but after a few minutes, more keepers will come in vaster numbers. And if you're near, basically, keeper bodies attract keepers. This is what Romulus is telling you.
Okay, so we need to somehow keep going while also
Well,
finding a time to rest.
All we want to do is get the book and get out, so...
Yeah, but we have to find a time to rest. It will take some time to get there.
Yeah.
Plus, remember, the keeper that is taking you down there, as soon as it's nighttime, will immediately turn on you. So, the moment it becomes nighttime, that the first encounter is going to be that keeper. Of course, that keeper is going to attract more keepers.
Tig says, that which leads to an interesting question. I mean, how far underground are we? And yet they know when when night falls. He says, quite interesting.
Mm-hmm.
He says, obviously they have some sort of connection
Inner clockwork, maybe.
to the night.
Oh, they don't seem to have insides.
Says, didn't you say this place was created by the god of the first realm? And isn't the first realm like night, shadows, darkness?
Basically, yes. The first realm, well, that's where a lot of materials are made. It's where Nithian armor is created. Is made out of the viscous fluid that is found in the first realm. But this place, we think Aerith created it. We think. Quote unquote. There is a large pillar that goes all the way down, so that's why dragons can't fly.
Mm-hmm.
So, you literally have to take the staircase. So, your current problems, I'm going to go use the restroom myself, but your current problems are this, and you guys are going to have to think of a plan, and you're going to talk about your plan on camera, and then we're going to do the plan. 1, the keeper that's taking you down there will turn on you at when it turns dark.
Mm-hmm.
That keeper will attract more keepers. Mechanically, it is... How long is dawn till dusk? I think it's like, what, 8 hours?
Something like that. I mean,
So hold on, let's go with right now. So
we can decide, because this is a fantasy world. It doesn't have to go by real time period. So how long?
I would say it's kind of based on ours. So I say
8 hours is probably good. I mean, how many hours? If they have a 24-hour day, then it's probably 8 hours.
I'm trying to think. Hold on, I just want to make sure I'm doing this justice. So the sun goes down around 7 o'clock right now, I think. Right?
Mm-hmm.
And it rises at
Around 7.
Around 7.
Rises around. It goes down before 7, but it's probably.
It's like 12 hours then of nighttime.
Probably.
So you guys have to survive a 12-hour period of nighttime with hostiles, where hostiles create more hostiles. Now you guys can flee into the bookshelves, but you will get lost and you'll have to find your ways back. Not only that, you need to get sleep. So, if combat ensues, I'm going to throw the next amount on. The more combats that you initiate, the more will be in the next one. Make sense?
Mm-hmm.
So they won't immediately respawn. It's just every time you get into a counter, the first one is 1, and it starts doubling by 2 each time. So the second counter will be 2, the next counter will be 4, the next counter will be 8. The more encounters you get into, the more you're going to start
possibly
dealing
we can fight these guys without killing them. Maybe we can subdue them and, knock them out, tie them up. Something like that, instead of killing them, because when you kill them, obviously they're going to attract more of their kindred.
Romulus will say this because I know Hero Builder says you can do anything you want, but this is more based on a horror setting. These things will not stay down. You can't knock them out. It's either kill or be killed. They're like rabid animals. You have to deal with them. I know that sounds like I'm being a dick, but it's like it's part of the problem solving.
Are there any places? Is there any place on a level where we can imprison them?
You could blockade them in somewhere, but nothing lasts forever. They do not get tired. They do not. They're like Terminators.
But it doesn't have to last forever. Just long enough for us to get by them.
I would say that is, you know what? We can open up the Hero Builder Core rulebook, and I'll say that you guys can construct a named wall, a temporary wall that has one use, that has armor and defenses, but you're going to have to make it out of something, and it's going to take time to make it. So,
books. There's lots and lots of books.
How long would that
Romulus
take?
looks at you dead in the eye and says, "Do not destroy any of the books."
But you said that they simply respawn themselves.
That's if you take them out. If the book disappears and goes back. We don't particularly like our copies to be destroyed. So you guys are going to have to spend money to get material. I'll say this because I really got to use the restroom. You guys can buy material, but the material can only last you 3 blockades. You can only make 3 blockades, and the blockades are basically 4 squares. You can make them long or make them like a cube. All right, make sense? That seem fair? All right, you guys can make 3 barricades for each kaijin cube you use. So you got.
Well, we got our 1 day's worth back. He had 2. Spent everything.
Actually, you
but
know
2.
what? It wouldn't be that much to get wood and stuff. So, kaijin cube. Okay, so every 5 power points.
How many kaijin cubes did he spend per day at the hotel?
5.
5.
So he got 5 back. So he has 7 kaijin cubes.
Okay. Do you remember the exchange rate for gold to kaijin?
100.
For every 20 gold spent on a barricade is 5 power points to that named item. Make sense? So the more powerful you can make a barricade. So you can make them really weak or make really strong ones. So your decision. Someone make a note of that, Jane.
Yep.
I'm making a note already.
Making a note. So
100 gold equals 5 power points.
no. 20 gold is 5 power
20
points.
gold.
So because you gotta make a lot of barricades, because
20
look
gold
at how
equals
many
5
places
power
you have
points.
to.
And
do.
100 gold equals 1 kaiju cube.
Right. So you guys are going to have to make these barricades, prep for it, and then head down. And then we're going to see if your plan worked or not.
I'm not sure about this wall.
You guys can come up with other things, defenses, grenades. Let's just put it this way.
Go.
You can spend no. You can spend 20 gold to get 5 power points in a named item. That named item can do anything because it's Hero Builder. I'm just saying wall. Basically, you can make anything with 20 gold.
That was my idea, the barricade. Anybody else have any ideas?
So this is up to you now. I gotta use the restroom. I'll be
Sun
back.
in a bottle?
Do we know if light affects them?
No,
We don't know if light has any effect on them.
light doesn't seem to affect them.
Kevin's like, get out of here. Let us.
I mean,
Any other ideas? Barricading them in was my idea.
I can make an ice wall. I have ice breath.
And I have.
I can do that! And she has the mystical mumbo jumbo.
Magic.
I mean, we also have the butler.
We have the butler. I keep forgetting I have the butler.
I mean, we have...
But the butler won't do anything that will harm anyone.
No. Or slow anyone down or stop anyone.
So we can attack and attempt to...
Because every time you kill one, there's going to be 2 more taking its place.
Mm-hmm. Hacks and black magic, Kevin?
Maybe.
So, alright. Is there only one way on the staircase and one way off?
That's what it appears.
So what? Is it open? I wonder. Because if it's too open, then those things could be creepy crawlies. So they could crawl onto the staircase, like on the banisters. Which means we can't have like 2 walls.
Ice dome. Fuck off!
We could add that, like as a last resort kind of thing.
What?
The ice.
Mm-hmm.
Or we can use that as first to see if it's even effective at all. We don't know if they can go straight through it. You never know.
I say
Yeah, but we can't really like go, oh, it didn't work, let's get out of here.
I think the biggest place we're going to need to use the barricade is when we have to rest, so that they can't get to us.
Mm-hmm. And we have one thing that's really a big deal is we're going to have to somehow go down, I mean, what we could do is we could get to this floor and then cut off 2 locations, which we would be able to rest.
Mm-hmm.
Or we could just, while we're resting, we could have like 2 lookouts
Yeah.
as well as a lookout cycle.
Yeah, we can do that.
So, alright, we're going to need to think about the wall itself then. If we're going to just need 2 walls.
Mm-hmm. Well, we'll build it out of materials that we get because he's got 7 kaijin cubes, so 700 gold, and you get 5 power points to the wall for every 20 gold. So we can make potent walls.
So we do that.
We could do that. Although I'm now wondering if I'm worried that they climb
Well, that's why we also have
the ice.
Yeah, and also 1 or 2 people.
Awake.
Yeah.
Alright, so let's get 2 walls. You had 7, and...
So that's 700 gold, and you get 5 power points to the wall for every 20 gold.
So how much kaijin should we use?
Well, if 1 kaijin cube will give us,
100 gold, I say.
which will be 20 power points.
Mm-hmm.
So you get 20 power points per kaijin cube.
No, 20 power points.
I have to make the next one, but it just occurred to me, I totally forgot to do this. We do have the tool rules in here, because they were the last thing to get added. Yeah, here. Here's how you make items on the fly, and how long it takes for each. There you go. Just as a refresher. Hi everybody, I'll be back. Jane, do something to entertain the folks.
We've been talking.
Okay, good.
We
About
do
a
some-
super
What do
plan.
you think we've been doing? Picking our nose?
Maybe.
I have been, but and eating it.
Ew.
I've been farting.
Ew.
No, I haven't. Or
I have a colorful stick.
Now I have said stick of power.
I have it back.
Stick of power.
It's mine. My tiny babies. No. My tiny dice.
Mystical powers.
Did you just remove the lead from your pencil?
That was already
No.
like that. It was already like that. It was already like that to begin with.
Poor pencil.
We need a new pencil. I'm gonna.
I didn't know you could even do that.
No, you're not supposed to.
You're not supposed
I figured you weren't supposed to. I didn't know it was possible.
You're not supposed to. It was already disconnected anyway.
It's just a broken pencil. It just,
You need to resharpen
Did it come out the whole, like, way down the...
Anybody else want a soda?
Me.
Kevin wants.
Oh, gee.
Yeah?
Remember what I said last Sunday? About my ghost.
Yes.
Okay, remind me.
Oh, she's been absolute paining you this entire time.
Your ghost.
Okay.
I have made a rule, because it's been neglected again, that my ghost has to have an appearance in the episode at least once.
Well, that's on you. I made it appear.
Oh, no.
I made
I know,
it appear in my last...
I know it's me.
It appeared and it was quite annoying.
Yes.
Notice me, senpai.
And trust me, when I take over again, it will appear again.
Yeah. But I made it a rule for TJ, and now for you. When you're hero mastering again.
I'm gonna laugh one of these days when you're doing that in the top.
It's just
Just dice everywhere. Just doing your.
That would be a pretty cool slow-mo, though. It's just like... And then the sad face. No.
Where did he go?
I went to go to the
Soda?
bathroom, and then he came in here and we go lucky woohoo.
Now this is an interesting part of the live stream. We're sitting here looking at each other and...
So
We're thinking of a
everybody
way to-
who's watching this live stream, how are you doing? Do you
Is
have
any-
a good day?
Is
Have
anybody
you
watching?
called your mom?
Is anybody watching it right now? Do we know?
It didn't look like anyone except for me is watching it.
No, so it doesn't matter.
Oh. No wonder my
you have a
phone...
knife for?
That's not a knife. It's called a 3D printing removal tool because I just am holding that.
Why?
Oh, my
I'll have to
phone
go upstairs
died.
and check the 3D printer anyway.
My phone died. I can't watch the live stream anymore.
Where's the life juice?
The live juice is upstairs.
You guys are still playing?
I
We
think
have an idea.
I think we have a pretty good idea worked out here.
So Tim has the master of the walls.
We've got the walls figured out. For 1 kaijin cube, we can make a 20 power matrix wall
Mm-hmm.
or barricade. And we're going to use the barricades to rest. Put the barricades around ourselves, and that way they can't get to us while we rest. Plus, post watch to make sure they're not climbing over the barricades.
2 at watch while 2 asleep.
Mm-hmm.
All right.
Who should we have asleep and who should we have
Take
on
turns.
watch?
Yeah.
Take turns?
Take turn. First watch, second watch.
Who's the first? Who's the pairing of the first watch? Who's the pairing of the second watch?
Fair pairing of the first watch. I don't know. Do you want to have... I could have both of mine on one watch, or...
Mind you, remember, action points only refresh after 6 hours of proper rest.
Mm-hmm.
So if you use action points, you're probably not going to be getting them back.
No, I'll take first watch.
You'll take first watch. We should choose by who could use the more... who could use the support character more.
Yeah. Well, that's any of them. Need the support character.
Just Bijou stays up all night. She needs the PowerPoints the most.
All right, I'll ask you this.
Yeah?
Do you think you need an NPC to come along with you?
This would have been a good one to have your two along for the ride.
Maybe.
Yeah.
Especially since one of them is a support character.
Yeah. Oh well,
We'll try to make do. We die, we die.
I guess, Kevin and I will take the first watch just because...
Okay.
That way, because the sun has just gone down, that's the more dangerous point. So that, you know, more chances of getting hurt.
Yeah.
Because you're automatically going to get attacked because the one that's guiding us is going to attack us.
Yeah.
We'll have to kill it, and then there will be more that will pop up because of killing it.
Yeah. Alright, I think we...
Not plan.
You got the wall, right?
Yeah. You see, if we build the wall while we're resting, maybe they'll just be wandering around and we won't actually have to kill any of them and cause a whole bunch more to spawn.
Yeah.
All right, so
We've got that plan.
you have the
Plan is
basics
made.
of a plan.
Mm-hmm.
Let's see if it works.
Let's see. Hold on. So you have a 20 power matrix wall, right?
We can make 7 20 power matrix walls because he has 7. That's what one kaiju
case they-
cube will buy a 20 power matrix
We don't need
wall.
7 then.
And he has 7 cards. So that's
That's our full extent of what
that's
we
the
can make.
resources that we have available.
So let's do, instead of 7...
And please make sure you're taking note of how long it takes to make one of those walls.
15 minutes
15 minutes.
because it's a readily constructed item.
Let's
But
go with...
you won't be able to break it down
And-
and use it.
And it will be it will have a 25. It will, if it's a 20 power matrix barricade, then it will have a difficulty rating of 25 to create it.
Would it be better if we just made 4?
No, we don't have to make. Oh yeah, we could make 5
Well, it's...
power matrix walls. One Kaijin cube would also make 5 walls with. One Kaijin cubes can buy 20 power matrix points for walls. However many walls you want to split that into. I say we split one Kaijin cube into 2 walls.
Honestly, this is a really good point.
10
of
points.
Our
10
system
power
can handle
matrix
anything,
apiece.
right? This is a really good example of how Hero Builder can handle any situation. These are one-time items, but it's for survival. You guys are literally taking the basics of the rulebook
Yep.
and are making it. Now, the real question is, your 20 power matrix items.
I'm saying we're going to, for each Kaijin cube, we could make a 20 power matrix item. I say we make 2 10 power matrix items. They'll be easier to make. It won't be nearly as high of that'll only be a 15-point roll. That's easy. 25-point roll is considerably more difficult.
And what kind of power are you trying to give these things? Are you giving them health? Are you giving them extra defenses for a roll, for stealth rolls? You gotta remember this is, what do you want these walls to exactly do?
Shield.
Or are you just trying to hide from them?
Just hide from them.
Then you would want it to give stealth rolls. See how versatile Hero Builder can get? These are items. These are just the items.
These are going to be, they're items that when we put these walls up, they won't know we're there. So they won't want to attack us. They'll just wander around and
won't see
I think
you.
we should have a minimum of 4. That way, if we use this area...
So for two Kaijin cubes, we could have 4 10 power matrix walls.
Yeah. Should we?
Mm-hmm.
Sound like a plan?
Mm-hmm.
Kevin?
Yep.
Are we all four, and then we're gonna park ourselves in a aisle?
And they're single use only, so that's why we need extra ones.
Mm-hmm.
Now, I'm going to... so you now seem to understand your basic ideas of how to survive the night. But remember, the very first one is going to attack you as soon as it becomes nighttime. So how are you guys going to deal with that first? Because here's the thing. I never said it's going to immediately attack you. I'm just saying when it turns night, it's going to attack you. So how are you going to deal with...
Ding-a-ling-a-ling-a-ling-a-ling-a-ling.
Yes.
May I have a candle that will go out 5 minutes
how long does it take to get the wall up?
15 minutes.
30 minutes before night.
He nods and he says, when do you wish to light it? Now.
That's a very good idea. A very good use of a resource.
He pulls out a candle that's this freaking high. Because it's still a couple hours before night. Because you're doing this in the morning and probably going to set off in the afternoon.
Mm-hmm.
So.
And this candle looks very much like this.
He goes, here you go. And he lights it for you. And then
Thank you very much.
he nods and he disappears. Well, everybody looks away for a moment and then he disappears.
This will keep us safe.
Sounds like you guys have a plan.
Mm-hmm.
But will it work? Stay tuned.
Yes, especially since I now have to go make sure that the freaking 3D print is staying on its rocker.
It's in a glass candelabra, right? To keep the flame from dying from wind.
Yes. And you guys begin your descent. Down and down. And of course, before, on the very first level, Romulus calls over a keeper. And it's just like as he described. It looks like a shadow, an actual living shadow.
With green eyes.
Blue eyes.
Blue eyes.
I haven't made a mistake. It's blue eyes.
I like the idea of green eyes better for some reason.
There's a reason it's green eyes. Sorry, blue eyes. See, now I messed it up. It's green, it's blue. It's blue eyes.
There's a reason for why they're blue.
Right. And he begins to take you down, and Romulus is kind of talking about what this level has, what this level has. He says, now, we're pretty sure that as books fill up a level, we don't know when it happens, but it might be every 10 years, maybe, the levels get shifted down one. So knowledge becomes harder to obtain.
Older the knowledge, the harder it gets.
Right. The deeper you have to go, and you might drown.
Have you ever asked the keepers any of these questions?
He goes, they don't talk. The only times they talk is when they say the library's closed.
And then you die.
Yes.
That's very creepy.
He nods, he goes, I think you guys have a solid plan. He looks at your packs of
wood.
Building materials, yes.
He goes, you seem to be very defensive.
Yep.
We're hoping that we can construct a barricade that will hide us so that we don't have to kill any of these keepers.
He goes, well, I do wish you luck. Just remember, though, as he walks down, he goes, if you do kill the keepers, you're going to have to put them somewhere else. because they attract.
Yes.
So, you guys head down.
So if we're forced to fight, we take the barricade away to the opposite side of the level where the fight occurred.
Mm-hmm.
That way they'll start gathering around where the fight was at instead of where we're at.
That sounds like a plan.
He takes you down, and then he notices the candle's halfway, and he goes, well, this is where I must leave you.
It was a pleasure walking with you. Thank you so much.
He nods, and he says, just be careful. I hope to see you in the morning.
Tig says, we will see you tomorrow.
And he heads on upstairs, and you guys continue going down, past 25, and it starts getting a little colder. Now, this is the part where I have to be a bit dickish, because you guys have forgotten something.
The kittykins. I remember the kittykins will get cold.
The kittykins, even the Agamongal's going to start feeling the cold.
I don't think so. Agamongal has that magic hood.
Right, but it needs to be recharged in the sun.
Plus, he's from the coldest. He was bred in the coldest climate in the world.
But he is cold-blooded.
No, he's not. Kangar, they're like dinosaurs. They're not. They're actually very hot-blooded. They look cold. They look cold-blooded, but they're like birds and dinosaurs. They're actually very hot-blooded.
I thought it was a lot cooler to have them be cold-blooded and have to deal with the cold.
No, I like the idea that they were bred in cold areas. They're actually more susceptible to heat than they are to cold. Because they're hot-blooded, they will heat. If they're in like a tropical climate, they will overheat, and they can get heat stroke.
Well, I'm not going to do the semantics. So, try to think here.
Well, we can still do it with the kittykins.
Mm-hmm. Kittykins are definitely very susceptible to cold.
What is that?
And Tiggs is starting to shiver.
Oh, yeah.
Be
You guys
shivering.
forgot to get certain things for that.
Ding-a-ling-a-ling-a-ling-a-ling-a-ling.
Yeah, but you've got that covered, so ding-a-ling-a-ling-a-ling.
And you see him appear around a bookshelf.
It's cold. Can you bring 2 things that will keep us warm?
Thick fur coats.
Please?
He nods and he goes, right away, miss. And he brings you 2 fur coats.
Thank you.
So the kittykins are a bit warmer now.
But you do notice that as he appears and he hands you them, he looks really cold. And he still appears in that butler outfit.
Well, luckily he disappears quickly. He doesn't have to stick around long.
Which, by the way, I have a thing in my mind. I gotta go check on the 3D print. You guys arrive.
Are you making another teacup holder?
I have to. You arrive on the 50th level. It is now very cold. Extremely cold. And when I come back, you guys are going to have to set up your barricades. And you guys can get rid of your guys. But use the red marker, or better yet, use this green marker to indicate where you set up your barricades.
Okay.
Along with anything else, and then we are going to start doing the actual nighttime scenario.
I have no water. I am thirsty tonight.
Would you like some normal water? Sometimes carbonated water
I don't
has
care.
too much air in it.
I don't care.
I'll get
Water.
you a glass of water.
Any kind of water will
Tim,
work.
you are in charge of drawing the lines where our
Barricades are.
barricades are.
Barricades.
Barricades.
See if we'll all fit in here.
Shwink. Shwink. Shwink, shwink. That's as close as...
That's good.
Yeah, that's
I
about-
just need to know where to put the second.
I mean, then technically, since we're all... Whoever's, in the sleep mode...
Mm-hmm.
They'll just, cuddle up to each other. There we go. The kitty, we have a way to keep the kittykins alive and warm, maybe.
They seem to be stuck. The problems with having a 3D printer, especially one that is like...
It's not working anymore?
No, it's working. It's just...
But you
I got a new nozzle, and it's not the correct nozzle.
But you fixed it already? Well, that wasn't too bad. I figured you were going to be going for...
I'm just taking a quick look.
I thought you were going to be going for quite a while.
No.
That's not
Just
bad.
a couple of moments.
Yeah. No, I was talking about TJ. I thought he was going to be gone longer.
But we just all be in the barricade now, or
Yes.
why not?
Everybody's taking a nap except for two.
So you set up you've used 2 barricades,
Yes. There.
and nighttime falls. You set up your barricades, and there's currently one out there.
The one that had guided us.
And you dismissed him. He's like hanging out over here.
Wee!
There. Right there.
And
yourselves.
he was really active. I mean, he flew across the...
Super speed man.
And now it's extremely cold, and you notice that now that the sun has gone deeper, it is now colder, and your coats are no longer keeping you as warm as it was.
All right, Tim. Let's
Snuggle close to the
Let's penguin.
Tangara, because the Tangara gives off heat.
let's just penguin each other.
I still don't like the idea. I really liked the idea that the Tangara are cold-blooded. That was kind of fun.
Everything reptilian
uses-
everything reptilian is cold-blooded. That's too cliche.
No, normally reptilian things are usually warm, like they do warm-blooded because it's too easy. I mean, like they just treat them as like regular humans.
No,
I like
the
the-
difference is that Tangora are overheat.
They overheat. They give off heat. They're like a blast furnace.
Which
So
is different for a lizard.
in
And why the hell do they wear warm things? I mean, like that's part of their thing. At this point,
because that keeps their internal heat. A cold-blooded creature has no heat inside of it, so wearing a warm thing would do no good because they are exothermal. All of the heat comes from outside. An endothermal creature, the heat comes from within side, so you wear something warm to keep the heat in. That's why we wear things, to keep the heat in. The heat comes from within. A reptile, something cold-blooded, the heat has to come from either the sun
That's why they sunbathe
or something else. They have no heat. Their temperature actually is whatever
around them.
the temperature around them.
That's why the Tangora created the special and we even gave it a special name of like a special type of underclothing that needed to be charged in the sun or at a fire,
But
and it gives off heat.
if they were cold-blooded, they would never have survived long enough to create something like that because they would have all frozen to death when they first came out because they're born into the coldest climate in the world.
No, they're
Up
right next to
north.
They're right next to a desert.
Yeah, but they're way up in the north,
Deserts are
though.
not
It's
always
a cold. It's a cold, barren wasteland, not a hot, barren wasteland.
They're not like deserts.
I still say it's the more interesting of the two, and at this point, I'm not going to argue the semantics. You guys settle in for the night. Tell me, what does that barricade do?
It conceals us.
Completely, so that they don't know that we are here.
Okay, but it only offers so much in a stealth roll check. So
we can't sit in
flavor-wise, it's a barricade.
Yeah,
but
we
mechanically,
can't.
what is it doing? It's hiding you.
Yeah,
so
gives
it
us-
adds. So how much is it adding to your guys' stealth roll?
It adds. Let's see. We've got a power matrix of 10, and I figure half of that goes to its defense, and the other half goes to its stealth. So probably adds 5 points to our. So we still have to be quiet. We can't sit in here and have a party and talk. We have to be quiet in order for it to work.
Hence the stealth roll. So you guys have to make 12 stealth rolls in order to make it through the night. Each every hour that passes, I'm adding it onto the roll. So, for example, on the third hour, I'm adding 3 to whatever I roll. So, for the first hour, he rolls. You guys make your stealth roll.
All of us have
All of you have to make stealth rolls
Both
because
of mine
you're
got
trying
nat
to keep
20s.
quiet.
What do we add for the
Wow,
stealth roll?
add stealth to your
Both of mine got nat 20s.
add stealth to all of your
What are we
your
adding?
skills.
Yeah. They both get stealth to their skills.
What do you get?
What stat do we add to this roll?
I need a pencil.
I
Where's that pencil you
It's
killed?
dexterity.
Here, just use.
You're trying to...
I didn't kill it. It was already killed.
Let's just put it this way. You're not trying to move and be
move,
quiet.
yeah.
You're trying to stay still and be quiet. Actually, I would say this would be... this isn't a stealth check, technically.
Well,
Because
what is it? Because mine both got it as a skill.
Well, it would be your constitution that would be added because you're trying to remain quiet. Not move and be quiet. You're trying to just remain quiet, which takes a lot of constitution. So
Well,
I would call it stand still. Or I'll come up with a better name for it later.
Stillness.
Stillness. It acts like stealth, only it uses your constitution. Instead of moving and being quiet, you
Another
stand
aspect of your ability,
builder.
you can create your own skills.
right on the fly.
I have a 24.
So then we
24?
also add 5 from the wall. We also add 5 from the
Plus
wall.
5 to the wall.
Oh.
It's adding to your stillness because it's hiding you.
I have a 29.
29.
I got a 28.
That keeper just wanders around and he just is looking.
Like, where did they go?
He's just looking around and you just see him suddenly walk into one of the
There's your
Bookshelves.
pencil.
and an hour passes. Who's currently taking watch?
Kevin and I.
And who's currently sleeping?
Again,
The ones that rolled a d20.
An hour passes and we go into the next hour. Remember, 12 of these, and I'm keeping track.
Sweet.
Well, now my two have both got big skill bonuses, and 27 and 26.
I got a 27.
24.
You see 2 of them walk by, but they don't seem to notice you. Third hour. Ooh.
Another nat 20. He can't get the same.
But
skill
remember,
twice,
it only
so-
takes one of you to roll low to initiate the combat.
So, 25 and a nat 20. He can't get the skill a second time. though.
27.
What did Kevin get?
25.
Kevin gives a little bit of a snore.
Kevin's not
No,
I'm-
Kevin's on watch. You're watching 3 of these things walk by. You see one look at the barricade for just a moment, and you close your eyes because you realize that the glow of your eyes might give you away. He rolled high. They rolled high this time.
Oh boy.
But they turn and continue. 12 rolls you must make, and every time it gets harder. 4th hour.
29 and 24.
I got a 26.
30.
30.
Yep.
I think she's just going to be the stealthy one here.
So the 4th hour
Does
passes.
Bijou have a high constitution?
I have that.
I have a thief skill.
Mm.
I've been using that this whole time. I mean, that's stealth, that's silence, that's stillness.
Are we rolling it again?
You're rolling until either 12 hours are up or combat starts. And remember, as hours pass, it gets harder. Essentially, what's happening is every single one is adding a +1 to the roll. So 5 are currently walking by.
30 and 24.
29.
26.
What was that? It was
30 and 24.
26.
29.
They walk by. 5 hours. You're now on the 6th. Halfway through the night.
Now we switch. Now the roles switch.
Ooh.
Now you're going to bed, and Tiggs and the Gammon Gall are up.
Ooh.
Uh-oh. I don't like the sound of that over
Tiggs and
there.
the Gammon Gall both got nat 20, so they both got a
Well,
big bonus
after
for
this
stillness.
6 hour.
After
They-
this one. Then
After
we
this
switch.
one, then you guys switch.
Mm.
And they rolled
There's-
good this
Yeah,
time.
mine's still rolling good. 31 and
I got another
26.
29.
I got a 23.
Oh. Oh. That's a 22.
Your tired eyes are flickering.
Mm.
They got 22 last time. 23. Oh, Lord. And remember, it's only going to get harder. So, this is literally just basic mechanics. So, how this is working, as I said, essentially all we're doing is skill checks. But on every in-game hour, they're adding +1 because every single keeper has a +1 to perception. So essentially, the more there are, the higher their perception will get. And every hour, another one joins. Because they're congregating. Because one is there. So another one comes. And another one comes. And 6 hours pass.
And now we switch roles.
Now you must make a stealth check. This is me being... You guys are essentially waking the other party up and putting them in. We're going to do a stealth check this time. Unless anybody got really low. I mean, like, really, really low. You're probably fine. What'd you get, Jane?
A natural 20. My
I rolled a
skill
19.
chart is full.
You're fine.
So it's a stealth
My
check.
skill chart
So it
is
uses your dex this time.
full.
A Gammon Gall
I'm
is
not gonna do
okay.
it.
'Cause he rolled high. Tiggs, let me see his dex. I think is it's pretty good. So he might be all right too.
What'd he get?
He got 15, and a Gammon Gall got
No.
20, not natural.
You failed.
Wait, Tiggs got 15?
Yeah. Well, if is it just a dex bonus? Because he doesn't have
Just the
stealth.
dex bonus.
So he got 15.
Unless you have stealth as
He
a-
doesn't have. Does he have stealth? I don't.
Wouldn't the
believe he
barricades
does.
also
Does
add on
he
to the...
have like a thief's
Are you
skill?
guys adding the
Oh, he
barricades?
does have. He
No,
does
the
have
barricades
stealth.
you made for stillness, not stealth.
He does have stealth. No, he does have stealth.
Okay, because 15 was the thing.
No, they both got 20s then.
Okay.
Because he does have stealth. I didn't realize
Okay.
he had
It
stealth.
would not initiate combat, but basically, like, they would have directly looked at you, and I would have made the next check even harder. So, 6 hours pass, you guys switch places. Now, Agamagal and Tiggs are awake, watching.
Mm-hmm.
And more join. Now we're back to stillness.
And they both got nat 20s again.
I lost my arrow. I took my...
If combat starts, they're going to both start rolling ones. Because they're rolling a shit ton of nat 20s here.
You got a 29?
I got a 30.
29, 30. Everybody remains still, quiet, calm. And another hour passes.
I got more than a 30.
This one could be trouble.
What'd you get?
One of them is fine. But the other one got an 18.
I got a 23.
18.
And one of them was 20. Oh,
I got a 32.
Gammon Gall was 26, but Tiggs was 18.
2, 3, 4, 5,
Oh.
6, 7, 8.
They heard him.
Describe how Tiggs alerts the keepers.
He lets out a snort of...
He farts.
He goes, oh no. Oh no.
He farts rather loudly. And then can't help himself but giggle.
2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. They immediately look at the barricade and they go, the library is closed. The library is closed. Roll for initiative. And remember,
We
now
still have ours.
I'm now doubling it from here on out.
Doubling what?
So once you guys take these down, 2 are going to be coming every hour and adding on to the amount that you're about to deal with. So, yes.
So is this session going to end tonight?
Yes, it will end tonight. It's just going... These guys... The idea is it's numbers you have to deal with.
Yeah, but I mean, if they keep coming continuously, then we go all night long. And
Don't worry, as we play, you'll understand. So, everybody roll for initiative. Who wants to keep initiative?
I always keep initiative when I do when I hear a master, so I'm not keeping it.
Cricket.
I can keep it.
Mm.
Let me...
Do we want to keep multiple initiatives?
Let's see. We have the keepers, Tiggs, Gall. I always forget yours.
Ifrit.
Rit.
If.
Rit.
And Jane is B. I'm shortening it so I don't have to write out the whole thing. And they just got... So essentially, like I said, these guys are based solely on numbers, and the more that will come. So this encounter may be short and quick, but you guys won't have to reset up your barricades, deal with those within an hour before the next set comes.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, and somebody has to wake up the dragon and them, which will probably take an action to wake up. So, if farts, they look and they go, the library is closed. The library is closed. I need initiatives for everybody.
How many initiatives? How many rounds worth?
Just 2 for now.
All right. Tiggs got 14. A Gammon Gall got 18.
And their second...
Tiggs got 16. A Gammon Gall got 9.
Ifrit?
25 and 24.
Bijou?
18 and 5.
Oh dear. And...
I mean, I'm the healer. It's okay if I'm last to the party.
And they got... Okay, so, very first person to go is Ifrit.
Who's asleep?
Who is asleep, so he's technically holding his action. Next up are the keepers. Did you guys add any hit points to that barricade?
Yeah, it has. We have 5 of its power matrix goes to defense.
So it has 5 hit points.
Mm-hmm.
So that thing's probably going to only last 1 of their attacks.
I just realized we had defended behind us, and there was nothing behind us to worry about.
We don't know that. I don't know that there's a wall back there. These things may go back endlessly, and keepers may be able to come out from that direction too.
Mm-hmm.
Yep. There are
That's
things
why
that there are openings into the other halls.
That's why
as
I was
well.
thinking that, because I didn't think that there was this, because he said that you could get lost in the stack. If they only go back 100 feet and then there's a wall, you can't get lost in the stack. Mm-hmm. But if they're like a maze back there, then there could be keepers running around back there too.
So that thing has absolutely no armor. It will instantly be a hit. So they are technically minions. Minions roll. Hand me the Hero Builder book. I can't remember what minions roll.
You always had minions.
Yeah, but I don't have minions currently, and I don't have the note on me.
He's already forgotten.
Hey, this is why we published this book. Hey, look, Hero's Blade. Let's see.
But he's never really used minions to attack things. He just used minions to, chuck a spell. Like, here you go.
Or do other things.
Movement. Teleportation.
The powers in your hands. Summon a minion. 47. They roll a 1d6. So essentially...
I could either die or...
Okay, so there's currently 2 on the barricade. It only will take... Barricade has 5 hit points, and they roll a d6. So let's see what happens.
They roll a 5 or above, the wall's dead.
3 hit points go away from the wall. They take chunks out of the wood. And the other one annihilates it. But that's their go, and the other ones are stuck behind. Next up is Gaul, who can spend an action to wake up
His
those
companions.
Well, I figure with combat, they're likely to wake up as soon as the first. I would imagine they would wake up as soon as they hear the wall breaking down.
The wall breaks down. You guys are awake. You can take an action to wake up at this point and get up to your feet, or make a dexterity check and acrobatics check to get to your feet fast. And you were asleep for 2
An
hours.
hour?
No, 2 hours.
2 hours.
Yeah.
You were asleep for 2 hours, so take a -2 because that has how deep of sleep you were in.
22
22?
for an acrobatics
Yeah, that's fine.
roll.
You wake up and you are able to get to your feet quickly. So you get to go first before Gaul. No.
Well, I can go anytime I want.
Actually, Bijou go. Yeah, you can go anytime you want. Do you just hold your action still?
Yes.
Okay. Bijou or Gaul goes first because they both got 18.
Which, they're, well...
What is your dex?
I thought it was size.
Dex? 10.
It's dexterity first.
Okay.
They're both the same on dex then.
So then Bijou goes first.
Bijou goes
She's-
first because
she's
of the
smaller.
sleep.
Smaller
Yes.
size.
You hear the barricade break.
Yeah.
-2 to your acrobatics to wake up and get to your feet. Otherwise, you're going to have to take an action.
I'll just take an action and get up.
All right. You have one more action.
I'll hold it in case somebody gets hurt.
You hold your action again with Gaul. You just saw them break down the wall.
He makes 2 basic attacks, one against each of the 2 in front of him,
All right.
and
They are hits.
they're hits.
They're hits. They literally are minions. They don't really have armor classes.
Okay, so and that means they have 1 hit point.
Oh wait,
apiece.
no. Their +1 goes to every single act, and they work as a group. It's actually 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 13 or above. Yeah.
They're both hits.
Okay. Because it's 5 plus however many there are.
Mhm.
So the longer this night goes on,
And how many
the more
hit points
dangerous
are
it'll
they?
get.
Are they 1 hit point like typical minions, or
they have 5 hit points.
okay? So he's probably going. Yeah, his strength bonus alone kills him then.
Okay. So two of them are gone.
And that's what Tiggs did to wake to make him.
Oh gods. So next up is the farter himself. Pigs.
The farter himself, and
I fart in your general direction.
let's see. What does Tiggs have? And Tiggs moves to here and makes 2 basic makes a basic attack against that one.
All right. It's a hit.
Yep, and his strength bonus will kill it by itself. So.
Because its current thing is 13.
Mm-hmm.
So.
And that's his go.
8 is... Wait, 5 plus 8 is 13. That's their go. You guys still have your actions to do.
Do you want to use your action?
Actions. He has 2. He made the roll.
I mean, I can't really do anything.
You
And I
can move
have-
out up next
can
to Tiggs and
move.
attack.
Out.
Make an attack against one of them.
Yeah, but there's
Can I fit
a
between...
gammon
Yeah.
in front of her.
Yeah,
Yeah.
you can move through the
Because we're
space. You just can't stay
Friendly
in the
space.
same
It's a
spot.
friendly space. If you're standing next to him in the middle of a fight, you'd be squeezed. But you're just moving past him.
Okay. So then...
Just clump yourself over to here.
And you can move through a friendly space because he's not going to make an attack of opportunity or try to block your way.
I'm just gonna basic attack that biatch. Because that's my last action. Because
Basic attack.
Yep. With a claw.
Wow.
Do 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 do.
Copywritten sound.
So yeah, that. Well, that's
Yeah,
it.
they would go after me, the hordes.
Oh, that was the hit. So I actually have to roll. Well, actually, yeah, I'll still roll. Why not? Yep. Bye bye. It's like, yep. Bye bye. That's my go. I can't win. I can't win.
All right. Jane?
I mean, you were kind of hard to say, right now in the safest spot. Way back.
Here, hold on. I'm moving over here. And then Gavin's gotta go back here. I just don't feel like getting up and moving my character. So that was my
That
move.
was
I
your
moved.
action. So, top of the round, first one to go is Ifrit.
Really? Me?
Take a 5-foot step and use your cone power of fire.
Or
Burn
ice.
them alive.
Or steam. Or acid. I can do any of those. But yeah, I'm just gonna...
Try not to burn them though, because I don't want really lava to, or you don't want to damage the books.
So I'll freeze them. And I believe...
I don't know about freezing because it's freaking cold down here already.
So?
It's cold.
So his ice wall will stay up a lot longer. It's not going to melt.
But it will do less damage because it's cold.
How do you know? You don't know what they're resistant to.
I mean, if they can live farther down than even the dragons can live.
Well, no, then I'll just use my lava. And
Books. Do your electricity.
I don't have electricity.
Oh wait, acid? But then the
Let's
books.
see. I'm going to use an action point, actually, to move to there. And, no, yeah. And I'm going to do my cone, which is a blast 3, so...
1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. Kind of like there.
I'm doing it.
If you start here, then it's a cone of 3, right?
Yeah. So I might hit ticks.
No, it travels this way. And travels there.
Yeah, because it's on. Otherwise, it would.
Okay. So I just barely miss ticks?
Yeah, you barely miss ticks. He feels the. Is it electricity?
No, I don't have electricity.
It's ice.
I'm either going to be using
Lava.
ice, lava, acid, or steam.
Okay.
Which...
Steam might work. It's
Why the heck not? I'll attempt to use steam on this biatch.
How are we liking the encounter, by the way?
Mm-hmm. And this is so far the second week in a row without a 1.
Actually, I didn't even need to.
don't jinx yourself.
Yeah, you just now jinxed yourself. Sorry.
Oh, but the last 2 that I ran, there were 1s flying everywhere.
True. It's true.
Well then, they're all dead.
They're all dead?
Yeah. Because what's the...
What's the damage that they can
5.
And what was the armor class? So on...
It's 13.
Yeah, then yeah, they're all dead.
Okay.
Because I rolled a 19.
Yeah. Okay.
So let's move ourselves because they're all.
Move ourselves to the farthest place from them.
And I guess I slightly warmed up the little bit of area
And
there.
put the barricade there. That way they'll all be congregating on the other side of the level.
I need that pen.
We're going way over there now.
Yep.
Oh boy. So now they're all over here.
Yep.
All their lovely dead bodies.
Yeah, they're all over there. But hand me them, please. We know they're over there.
Here. This big one, well, survives, TJ.
Mm-hmm.
This one big
Yeah.
signify
the
that
pile of.
Do they leave bodies?
They leave bodies. Yes. But they don't seem to stink or anything.
Since they're like shadows with no substance.
Yep.
But for some reason, they get attracted to it.
Nobody knows how. So, you guys set up camp again, and another hour passes. Everybody makes stillness rolls.
Another nat 20.
You're going to be running out of luck eventually.
He ran out of all his luck last campaign. This is just karma coming back to say, I'm sorry.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
I got a 29.
I got
Fine.
28 and the nat 20.
I'm getting sick of all these skills I get. Now I have stillness.
But you already had.
I have
Unfortunately,
the
with all
thief
these
skill.
nat 20s, it's all for the same skill, so they're not getting any more new skills.
No, my skills.
Her skill list is full.
Alright, now it starts getting interesting. They're adding 10 onto the roll, and you guys have, after this hour, 2 more hours, and then sunrise happens. But there is one thing you need to remember. It's now doubled. So if they attack, you guys are going to have to deal with 20 of these things, which means that they are adding 20 to their rolls, and they are doing a shit ton of damage. Be warned.
We are going to die.
Literally,
He's going to kill us.
they're literally glass cannons at this point. As the night progresses, they just become more powerful. So, they're adding 10 to their roll for stillness.
32
They
and
roll low.
28.
What do you guys add?
31.
I got a 24.
24. That's fine. 1 hour till dawn. You guys can definitely see 22 of these things out there, and you hear them behind you. Ooh, they rolled low that time.
It's good, because so did I. No nat 20s this time. One of them did well. 29. The other one was a 22.
Mine was a 20.
I got a 29.
Everybody's fine. This is the last hour. 1 hour until dawn.
So one more roll to make.
One more roll to make. Pray that they roll low, because you see 24 of those things and you can just hear them all around you.
A natural 20. Again.
I got another nat 20 and an 18. So I got a 30 and whatever a nat 20 is.
They rolled high this time.
I got a 29. This is as high as I can go without getting a net 20.
Oh, that's a 28.
They rolled a 28. You shuffle in your sleep, but then the dawn comes. But here's the thing. And this is just me. I'm not like trying to be decorative or something. It just occurred to me. How do you guys know it's dawn? I've been having you roll. Mechanically, we now know it's dawn. But you guys have to know it's dawn now.
That was a good point. I didn't ask for another candle.
No, you didn't.
So,
do their actions change?
let's do this.
The way does their behavior change?
There's tons of them out there now, but
But is their behavior? Do they act less aggressive?
they're just, they don't appear. They only act aggressive if they see you at night. All right, I have the roll to make for a leap in logic to basically be like, I think it's been enough time now.
Well, I'm
Okay.
asleep, so I can't make that.
Well,
leap
my
of
two are the
logic.
ones that are awake, so they'll
Yeah.
make the leap of logic. They've gotten enough nat 20s so far. Let's see if they can get another one.
Both get ones.
No. One of them rolled shit. Tiggs rolled a 2. But a Gammon Gall, he got...
He's looking at his hand and like, I have bean toes.
Gammon Gall got a 20, not natural.
20, not natural. A Gammon Gull You're pretty sure it's now dawn.
Okay.
You can test the theory if you wish, or do you not risk it? Because you're pretty sure.
He's going to test the theory because
He just goes to the corner of the wall and flicks it. And
He
sees
knows
if they
it's
react
close.
to anything.
And he figures if we have to fight, it will only be against this one group. And that
24.
that we could probably handle them if it's close enough to dawn. He thinks that if it's not dawn, it will be very shortly.
You
So
look
he goes
out,
and he goes out of the barricade.
and they do not react.
Mm.
Now, for those who are like, dang, I really wish that... No, this is Tier Builder. This was the mechanics I built for it. As the hours passed, it got harder. And the threat level just went up. So...
And you realize this is two entire sessions with no ones. If we get another entire session with no ones, then when I start taking them, there's going to be so many ones flying around.
Oh boy.
You guys wake up. You wake them up a couple hours later. Not a couple hours later.
Like an hour.
You wake them up. You take down the barricades. Do you grab one of the keepers?
Mm-hmm.
You say, take us to her journal.
Yep.
And they take you down, down, down. And it's just getting colder and colder. And now it's like really cold. It's like blizzard coldness. But finally, he stops at a floor and he goes into a section.
Finally. They're so cool.
Comes out with your journal.
He doesn't come out. He's just leading it to you. You guys follow. And he takes you down the bookshelves. Now, I should say what's been lighting this entire place has been crystals. Very large-looking crystals. And everybody make a leap in logic at this point because you're so far down.
There they are.
There's
2 ones. 2 ones.
I got a 16.
16. All right.
I couldn't add anything to it.
Mine didn't.
I
Mine,
don't
It's a leap in logic.
mine didn't leap in no logic whatsoever.
26.
26.
Tiggs is too cold for logic.
Bijou notices that the crystals... You notice that they were also the crystals that are all in the town. These seem to be a way of lighting in the city of Gornux, in the White Mountain. Not just in here, but
do
out
they
in
look
the
like the
normal
crystals
world.
that grow on his back?
Yes, they do.
How strange.
But you can make a comment on it. It's just something you noticed in passing. You arrive at a bookshelf, deep underground. It's extremely cold. And you see the keeper point to a book. And it looks just like yours.
I pick it up.
Sure enough, it seems to be an exact copy.
She turns to the dark creature and she says,
Is there any way I can convince you to put this at the very lowest
Well, remember the
shelf?
Romulus
you
said
have?
he would put it in his private.
yes,
You
but
don't
that's
trust him.
way up there.
Mm.
And yes, she trusts Romulus, but at the same time, she wants it as far away from anyone as possible.
Okay.
You know what? I'll have you make a roll. And at this point, I'm going to see if it's going to be fair or not.
You just rolled a D100.
You're trying to convince the library to break its system. And I was being fair. I threw the largest dice because this is a very powerful entity you're trying to overcome. I did not think you tried to persuade it. I could use a D20, which is in the rulebook, but this is Hero Builder. I can do anything I want. So I chose a D100 for this.
I'm kind of curious of what the hell did you roll?
We'll find out if she takes it or not.
Might as well. I'll use my strongest
Because if it's
one.
too high, it might be just a net 20.
I would, if it was above 50, I would have just said there's no way.
Without a net 20.
Without a nat 20.
Without a natural 20 on that roll, I got a 19. That's the highest I could. That's a 30. No?
It just cocks its head. It doesn't seem to understand.
Alright. How much did you roll?
It rolled a 34.
That means you'll have to take it back up with.
And by the way, if you want, you can take a look. I just moved it. It was 34. You're going to have to take it back up.
And let Romulus hide it in his personal hiding stash.
Mm-hmm.
But you might as well take it with you. We got to go back up anyway, so.
Yep.
Now it's time to head back up.
Thank you, very much.
It just looks at you, cocks its head, and then wanders off into the shelves.
Okay.
And it leaves you in the middle of the shelves. You don't see the staircase. It led you through one of the shelves, took you through, and back, and now you're in the shelving.
Uh-oh.
We go back to the same way we came.
No, because we went back and back and...
It wasn't a straight line. He took you back, went across a couple times, and took you to one of the shelves.
I mean, like we just go back and retrace our steps.
Right, but you look around, everything looks the same.
Call another one to lead us out. They're friendly right now.
Mm-hmm. Well, look for another one out around.
You look around and you find another one.
Could you guide us to the steps?
It cocks its head. It doesn't seem to understand. I'm not being a dick. They have a particular protocol.
Hmm. Ooh. Tiggs, do you have a book on you?
No.
Anybody have a book on them? Aside from me?
No.
Philly.
Why don't you have us take us to a book that's on the... Didn't everybody look at the books on the shelves on the upper floors?
Everybody make a leap in logic.
I was trying to...
Nope.
I got Gammon Gall got a nat 20.
I got 28.
Tiggs got another 2.
A Gammon and Bijou, a book suddenly appears in their heads. Remember, the newest books are at the top and then go down as 10 years go by. There's been a recent book that everybody has been reading by Pintel. The complete works of the complete knowledge and works of the Fifth Realm. And it should be up top.
And
on the very first level.
Gammon Gall remembers this because wasn't Pintel the one that was in? Because she's a black cat. A Gammon Gall knows her well.
Her mother wrote the book.
So yeah, he thinks of that, and he immediately snaps his fingers and says, "That's the book we want. The first, take us to, what was it called? The complete history.
The complete history of the complete history and the complete history and information on the Fifth Realm.
Complete history and information on the Fifth Realm by Pintel."
The thing nods, and it starts leading you back to the staircase. And it starts leading you back up. And it slowly starts warming up again. And by the way, if you were to ring the bell again, he would not have come. I'm just going to say this flat out now. You rang the bell up high enough, but yes, he would come back. However, the bell would have been frozen solid down there. And so he would have come frozen solid and just conked it.
Yeah, that's why I didn't use it at that point.
All right.
I was concerned about him. What if he's actually human?
I have an idea about the bell I want to go over with you afterwards.
Yeah. And the bell is an SCP as well, if I didn't make that clear last time. I mean, the SCP Foundation has created some fun stuff, and we're using some of it because it's fun, it's interesting. This is an amalgamation of 2 of them, along with a hint of Disney. So, you guys eventually make it all the way back up to Romulus. And Romulus looks freaking amazed that you have
See y'all come back up.
He goes, Amazing. It
Tig
looks like
says,
your barricades work.
It's freaking cold down there.
My whiskers have frostbite.
He goes, yeah, it gets pretty cold down there. So, what level was it on?
I think around 50 or so, wasn't it? A little lower even.
Mm-hmm.
53 maybe.
By the way, if people are going to say 50 stories isn't that really like it's tall but not very tall. No, for every story on this place, it's like 3 stories tall a level. So 3 times 50 is I have
A big number.
Yeah, because these are cavernous chambers. They're not.
150.
They're not like an office building.
150 times 900 feet down, I think.
Well, if we went down 50 stories, and they're 3 times 30, so
It's 150 stories in general.
And then you times that by, because a story is usually
10 feet.
10 feet. So hold on. So
And if it's 3 times, then it's 30 feet. Per level is each level is 30 feet. So 53
it's
times
15,000.
53 times 30.
so 15. So it's 1,500 feet down. And how big is a football field? How big is a mile?
5,000 some feet.
So this is like 3 miles deep.
No, this is like a mile. So this is like 15. How many feet were 15?
No, how many feet are in a mile?
5,000 some. I don't know the exact number. It's over
so
5.
this is like
It's over 5,000, but I don't know.
So you guys went pretty far down.
Yeah.
Anyway. It's like half a mile down.
It's quite a ways.
Especially since you're walking downstairs and you're walking back up.
It's a lot of stairs.
We probably have some thick legs right now
Well, we've walked everywhere.
Some bad calluses.
that are frozen.
We've walked everywhere already.
And you arrive back up top. I just like knowing how big things are. And at 50, half a mile down, it starts getting cold. And when you start going down even further, it will even get even colder and colder and colder. So.
It's so very cold.
Now I must tell you that your library has inspired me.
He nods, and
Might not be a
Romulus,
good thing.
Romulus looks at you and he goes, "Well, I'm glad that you have made it safe back. And do you have the book that you want me to keep?"
Mm-hmm.
He hands out. He takes the book. He doesn't look at it. He takes it, and you see him put it into his pocket, and he goes, "I'll make sure I put it into my safe before the night is over."
Thank you very much. It's very important, but it is hidden away.
He nods, and he goes, "Excellent. So, I know you came for that one particular book. How did you deal with them down below?"
We made a barricade, and we were very, very quiet.
Interesting. Maybe we might be able to take lower levels with that information, but prolonged...
He says it's very cold down there.
He goes, "Probably not the best idea. And besides, I do not think the library likes us trying too much."
I'm not sure that there's a reason to anyway. They don't seem to mean anyone any harm unless you unless you refuse to leave the library.
He says, "Well,
They certainly have no interest in leaving the library, or it doesn't seem so.
He nods.
Romulus, if there's ever an issue in the library and somebody's trying to take books away, could you ask one of the shadow creatures to bring it back where it belongs?"
He goes, "Well, if they try to take the book out of the library, it will just reappear back on the level it was."
Well, that's not the worry I'm having. It's anyone reading it.
He goes, "Knowledge is free between morning and dusk."
That's not what she's asking.
I don't get what you're asking. This
She's
is me, the Pure
asking
Master.
if somebody is trying to read that book,
The journal.
her journal, get one of the creatures to bring it downstairs. That way, there's an obstacle of it was there.
Oh, I'll
now
just
it's
throw
down
it out the window. It'll he says, sure, I'll just throw it out the window.
It'll automatically reappear where it had been,
Right.
down in the depths.
Right. The rooms that were up on the top level, all those doors, were reading rooms.
Mm.
So you could take the book up and read it, and then, like, throw it out the window if you want. Literally, there's no, like, putting books back on shelves. You just take the book and you throw it out the window, and it just reappears where it belongs. Which is actually pretty comical. If you think about it, just all these books get read, and at the end of the day, the librarians come pick it up and just throw it out the window.
We don't want you here.
Yeet! Yeet, 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 yeet! This is a very heavy one. Puts it on the book thrower.
It's a book launcher.
There's a book launcher, throws the books out.
It's like when you're done with it, just put it here.
Actually, you know what? It is I'll make sure I put in the Fifth Realm book. Oh no, I have hiccups. No.
Luckily, we're about done. Otherwise, that would really mess things up.
If you're not gonna use it, I'm gonna.
Hiccups
drink it.
while trying to do a live stream. Luckily, it hasn't happened.
It is a thing, a chronological thing, because I just thought of it, that the Great Library of Gornux is quite a spectacle for people who are tourists to look up at this majestic top peak and watch books get thrown out the window and then disappear as they get reshelves. Just like hundreds of books from everybody reading. And he nods and he goes, well, is there anything else you'd want? I mean, the top levels have more recent information. You could easily find something.
I think we are quite weary. It's been...
A long day.
Yes, a very long couple of days. I think we're going to go back to our luxurious room
and take a nap.
and take a much-needed rest.
And you guys return to your quarters back in the Brownstone. Brownstone. At the Brownstone Inn.
They're excited to see us.
You're like, yay!
And we're excited. We're excited to see our digs. We've just been vacationing down in a dungeon.
Cold ass dungeon. Which, in all honesty, you could use these basic mechanics to do a thing in SCP, the SCP IKEA. This would be one of the ways you could handle it. And
I
said one
like
of
the
ways.
SCP IKEA. That was one of the first SCPs I've read.
So I liked it, and that's why I mashed up with that one library thing, along with the deeper it went, the colder.
Now I need to know. I have two questions for you.
Yes.
One, how deeply have you delved into this library? Or is this just all you've come up with?
We could talk about this.
We can talk about that afterwards.
Because the other question is, when we're done, I have a cutscene I want to do. Because
Alright.
I said you have inspired me.
Okay. As is, this could be infinitely down below.
Yeah, I know. That's why you have inspired me. That whole concept is fantastic.
The only downside is, there are things that go through the mountain. This thing is, for lack of better words, anomalous. This isn't actually in the mountain. It's the building on top.
Yeah.
But
that's all part of what's inspired me.
This seems to be in another. This seems to be within the actual first realm.
Yeah,
to anybody's knowledge.
That's all part of what's inspired me.
Okay. There's one thing about the lower realms that I am keeping in from the actual SCP because it's just I really like it. The really personal stuff is the story of one's life. So if you were to, and I would recommend going looking at the SCP. I think it's 4001. It's one of the 1001s. I think it's 4001. I would look at it because it's really good. I'm using the concept because it's a very good concept. There are books that are people's lives
Mm-hmm.
If you are to take that book off the shelf, erase a part of it and like rewrite it in, or you can add things in and it will happen, or erase parts. Like for example, he was born a boy. Erase it to be he was born a girl. It would affect a large amount of people. The longer, the deeper down those types of books are, the more affected history will get. But those are like ice cold. You're going to have to like be ice itself. And even then you might freeze. Because the idea is knowledge and history is slowly lost to time because it just goes too deep.
Yeah, that's all. I told this whole concept is fascinating.
So
there's a lot that can be done with it.
You know what? I don't want to directly take too much from it. I don't think those books should be in there because
that doesn't have anything to do with what I've got in mind.
So
it'll be up to you if those books are in there.
It doesn't
But
have
it does-
anything to do with personalized things.
What I
like
have in mind doesn't have
knowledge books, things like that.
anything to do with the books.
The reason
It's
yours
the
was
library
so far down
itself.
is because it's more personal.
It's not what the thing I'm going for doesn't have anything to do with the books in the library. It's the library itself.
Okay. So, you guys go to sleep, and at this point, we're actually going to go to our cutscenes. Because we are kind of at the end. Oh, yeah, that's right. You're Ghost.
I told you, it's a rule. Because if not, it's going to be ignored.
He broke it last time, and he's breaking
Yes.
it again.
I even said in the middle of the live stream, so everybody knows. He has a rule.
Don't worry, when mine come back up, the ghost will be annoying you again.
Thank you.
As you try to sleep, the ghost just looks at you. And he goes, "Where the hell did you go?"
What do you mean?
Well, for one moment, you went into a building, and I couldn't enter. See, this is me retroactively saying something about the building, along with explain why I totally forgot, but I didn't forget.
You totally did.
I totally forgot about the ghost. But honestly, happy little accidents. The ghost couldn't get in.
That's odd. I
Yes.
mean, at the same time, it was quite nice having a hour of sleep.
You then see it bring out a pot and pan. And he goes,
Where do you get those?
the pawns gave them to me.
The pawn? They don't see you.
Well, okay, I stole them. And besides, let's make up for time. Ding, 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 ding. As you try to sleep. Why'd you leave me? Ding dong. There. Are you happy now?
Yes.
Okay. The ghost couldn't get in. We then we now go to our cutscenes. Unless you guys want to like roleplay a little bit in Romulus. This is still an episode. Do you want?
Roleplay in Romulus? What?
Whoa! Because I don't see them doing much. After that, I don't see them doing much with them besides trying to get to sleep as fast.
Oh, Bugs was reading her book.
Oh, Tiggs, yeah.
Tiggs
is laying in his luxurious bed, reading her book.
And
I'm pretty sure he would have been finished by now. He's had a whole entire...
Well, he hasn't been reading. He's been preoccupied with freezing to death and fighting for his life and trying to stay still while he's freezing to death.
Because literally that last encounter that may have happened would have been like, yeah, the first encounter, nothing really bad happened, but there wasn't a lot. But the next encounter would have been a whole lot worse. Because you couldn't possibly kill all of them at once.
So Tiggs is he's reading the last page, and he looks around and says, to no one in particular, he says, "Poor little Bijou. These are the visions that she has? That's horrible." And a little kitty tear runs down one cheek.
Cats cry.
Cats
cry.
Kittykins do.
cry.
My cats get like goo.
Aw. Yeah, the little black goo.
When they get the colds.
And then we enter a cutscene. We see Raz and Shepard.
We'll find out what happened with Raz and Shepard.
The paperweight fell.
You see them slowly walking along, and as the White Mountain arises, and you see Raz walking, and she goes, "You know, I think as I enter my middle age, I think I might just really try my best to be a black cat like you." And Shepard goes, "You might become a really good black cat in time if you could ever get over your gambling habit." And you see Raz goes, yeah. But, regardless, I will do my best as we go see Verana. I have heard stories about her. I think she's very kind, very sweet by what I've heard, and I really do want to make a good impression. Shepard just goes, "Never really been a fan of Verana. I've always dedicated myself to Nithya." And they're just talking about gods and everything as they walk. And we now do a second cutscene. And we see Bugs. You see him looking rather worried as he looks at the forest of Zell. The border of Zell, I should say. And he sees a woman in red walking through the border. And you see him sigh. He goes, "I think I better go back and grab them. I think I might actually need some help on this." And he turns around and he starts heading back. And now we end with a cutscene with you.
In the cutscene, we see Romulus. He is at his desk. All is quiet in the library. There is a keeper roaming around his station as Romulus pages through a book quietly. And then we see the stairwell, and we go down the stairwell at very, very hyper speed. And we go down to where our heroes had their battle. And we see their barricade, what's left of it. We see a keeper standing looking at the barricade. It cocks its head, then moves on. And then we go back to the stairway and we go down, easily 200 levels down below where they were. And we see a chamber. This one is different from all the other levels. It's much larger. The cold is almost a physical, is almost a presence that you can hear. You can hear the crackling of the cold in the air. It's that cold. And we see keepers moving about, of course, oblivious to the cold, except for one keeper, who's not moving about as the others do. It's standing at what looks like a podium made of some sort of black ice. And on this podium of black ice, there is a tome, a book. And this keeper is paging through the book. And we can see on the book, we can see names. They don't really mean anything to us, but these are names of people that the keepers have killed at various stages, various levels of the library. And it goes through books, and we see level 54. And we see our heroes there. They weren't killed, but we see that the keeper makes a mark that someone got down to level 54, then looks up from the book and drifts away. We then see a shadow larger than the keepers, like a amorphous cloud of darkness that sort of pauses over top of the book.
Pausing for 1 second.
And this amorphous...
We had to make sure a lore check because this is like one that is set in stone.
This amorphous cloud of darkness looks over the book, and we see two pale blue eyes, just like the keepers have. And we hear a voice, sort of a raspy shadow of a voice that says, "Level 54. No one has ever gotten that deep. They are getting bold." And then 12 more eyes open up around in the cloud, and the voice says, And that's where the cutscene goes off.
I like it. So, maybe that might be a future adventure down the line. I mean, like, you could have a fun, a deeper adventure for this, but that'll be at a higher level, I guess.
Oh, yeah.
So, Thank you very much for watching. We look forward to seeing you again next week for Varana, which is actually going to be a different title card because this one is a god of a realm. This is a big one, and this is going to be like a very special gift given to every single player that isn't like bought or sold. This is going to be a very personalized gift that will basically kind of ring down throughout the ages. Oh, one last thing. I totally forgot. One more cutscene. I almost forgot it, but I have to say it. Ifrit, as you slumber at night, you... Why did you do that?
I thought it would be quiet. I'm sorry.
I'm trying to do something dramatic here.
That was dramatic. Now he's totally... I don't know what he's doing now.
I'm trying to put it on her nose.
This has nothing to do with cutscene, though. Oh, it's all...
I'm trying to be dramatic!
I'm sorry.
Thanks, Jane. Thanks. As you slumber... Thanks, Jane. The mood's ruined. The mood's just ruined. Thanks, Jane. You're asleep in your bed.
And I hear it.
You hear a noise. Thanks, Jane! Thanks! You hear a noise as a woman... Don't hurt yourself. And you see a girl, maybe 14. She looks human, but she's got dragonish aspects to her. She's not Tangora. Tangora are very distinctly Tangora. This honestly looks like a dragon given human form, but like a 14-year-old girl. And she goes, Obo lied. And then a woman walks out. Same species. She looks at you. She goes, he made you. And then a third woman appears in your dreams. This one...
You got a lot of hoes.
This one...
No.
My harem.
No, this is actually very important. And an old woman, bent with age, still the same species, walks out. And you hear her go, the time will come when you will have to destroy it all. And your dream ends. Do you tell anybody about your dream?
Nope.
Because the only one that would have known anything about your dream would have been the one that has been raised by the Fae.
Or, unless you read the book. Should I just tell our audience at home who these three are?
No.
No?
Let them find out.
Alright.
If it's going to be revealed in storyline, then let it be revealed in the same
Storyline.
time.
Okay. Well, they aren't going to play any more part. The reveal is going to be something else completely different. This is just exactly what this was and what it means. And honestly, without the context, this probably won't come up unless somebody mentions it. Unless
he could
he
mention it
mentions
at some point.
He probably won't, though. I know Kevin.
I know Kevin. He won't mention it. So I might as well just tell the audience now.
Oh. Unless you bring the three up again. Somehow.
No, this is literally how they operate.
Yeah, but I mean, if they show up again in the future...
Good point. So, I'll probably use them again in the future. So, thank you very much for watching. We have children here. One throws bottles. The other one is just an asshole.
I dropped a bottle. I didn't throw it.
She threw it behind
And they're
herself.
destroying the wand of dice.
No, seriously. Like, you're really destroying it.
I bought it.
True, but still. Thank you very much for watching. We love your faces. We look forward to seeing you in the episode Varana, and then we're returning with Tim for the next 3.
We're returning with Tim.
Next 4.
Next 4. Oh yeah, the next 4, because I'm doing the last 2.
And then
of
finishing
the
the season with your last 2.
So, thank you very much for watching. We look forward to seeing you again. We love your faces. Be safe, and we'll hopefully see you in 2 weeks.
Bye.
Bye-bye!